It's all in the game.
It's all in the game.
Here, there, and everywhere.
And everywhere.
The people keep on
The
crying.
people just keep on crying.
It's not fair. And we going nowhere. Some. All the big people. Some. Some. All the roadside hustlers. Some. Jiffy, young Rico.
The big sea divide us.
Jiffy, young Rico.
The big sea.
You call him.
A very good evening to all of you. It's the 10th of June, 2025, and it's a great pleasure to have all of you watching
You know,
us.
instead the 10th of June, I almost said 2019.
2019, what happened at your birthday?
I
Your
know what
birthday?
2019 came out.
Let me say good evening to all of you. Fatima, you're in the backstage. I don't understand what's going on with you, but many radio stations are relaying. Let me give the credit to all the radio stations following us right now. We have a whole list of the radio stations. So let's begin by giving all of you the credit.
People here so.
In Grand Jida County today, we have Smile FM and Top FM. Top FM is relaying this presentation in Grand Jida along with Smile FM. Let's move on to Bon County. Radio Quatique is relaying. Very soon we'll hook up with Premium FM in Bon County, and Moali is making all the arrangements to get Premium FM on. As Fatima is making the arrangements to have Radio Cape Mount on. It's a commitment to the people for Radio Cape Mount to. And at you?
I'm making it. Yeah, manawa.
Great. Let's move on to Bombing County. Trust FM in Bombing County is relaying this presentation. Congratulations to the people of Bombing County. In Lofa County, we have 3 radio stations in the big county, Lofa. We have Makona, Radio Makona in Foya End. We have Radio Kantuma in Vonjama and the Voice of Lofa relaying. In Nimba County, we have Radio Nimba, Radio Yalimba in Saklepie, and also Radio Gompa, the Voice of Gompa. In Grand Bassa County, Radio Dukpa relaying this presentation. Sino, D2 Radio, and Radio Buto in Sino County. In Magibi County, we have Radio Magibi, Classic FM, and Radio Kakata relaying this presentation. I'm going to stop here for now. In Montserrado, of course, Punch FM 106.7. So if you can catch us on the internet, catch 106.7, you'll be live. Folks, good evening to all of you.
Well, good evening, Patrick. Good evening to everyone, our listeners. Patrick, we already have more than, I don't know how many, 500 people viewing from all the platforms, from YouTube and Facebook. And we have 2 different YouTube pages relaying this. The show is on live. Darius Dillon YouTube page, and of course the Class Reloaded itself. And then we are on Facebook on various platforms. So want to take this time to welcome every one of you. To call people name can be so difficult because you leave some name out. However, we can do it interchangeably. So want to welcome Boakai, Adama Boakai Sharif, Dodo Ibrahim Jacob Gadwar, Duana S. Duana, Duana S. Duana. Even the principal, I say we should share the show. He's watching it tonight. Samuel B. McGill, welcome. Cousin Wabo, William Dima, Elias Okeli. So the first people that enter class, those are the names we are calling. And Joe Moluba.
Enter the class list, share the show 5 times.
Wilkin, Duncan, Joseph S. Dean. Oh, Joseph Dean, that's a comedian. Oh. Morris V. Sambola, Senior, Jerome H.N. Kike, Eric Roberts, Prince A. Valley S. Balo, Darius Greenfield, Honorable Makula. Honorable Makula, welcome. This guy is usually on top of his game, recording those beautiful videos. Mark, we want to express our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to you. You've been doing very great. You and JMB Son, Morris Colley, Charles Etok, Krura, Taylor Smith, Lawrence Peters. Lawrence Peters is a very regular person. Prince Sabe, Prince S. Poli, Clement Wright, I'll call a few more. Marcia Snelling, a very, very regular person, student in the class. Missionary Augustine Chukbele, and Patrick Smith, who is Matthew S. Myers, Hawa Evelyn Golaka, Patrick Nimne Wea. Those are the names we can call. Lastly, Accurate Darlington S. Plaka. Patrick, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mo. Let's Fatima, good evening to you. You look so beautiful tonight.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you to our viewers, our dynamic viewers.
It's a compliment, my people are begging you. You don't for me.
I say thank you. And to our dynamic viewers, to all of our listeners all across the globe, we say thank you for coming to class. You guys are wonderful students. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for already sharing because I know y'all know the rule. You come to class, you must share. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all that you do for the class. We appreciate you. So now y'all will enjoy yourself. Y'all will enjoy yourself. You know that song, I will enjoy myself, enjoy myself, enjoy myself. Y'all come here, you'll hear the truth. We ain't got nothing to hide. We ain't got nobody to tell lies on. We here to tell you the truth. We here to bring your government to you. So yo, thank you for coming. Yo, thank you for sharing. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And my SJ is on. Yeah, SJ. Come on.
SJ, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Patrick. My internet's a little pausy today. I'm trying to sort it out, so I will come live once I set that up.
Thank you. Thank you. Seems as if you're eating.
No, I'm not. I just got home.
It can be easy. I don't lie to you, brother. Or you come from work like that.
And you know I
All
gotta
right.
drive. I gotta drive for the airport straight here. So it's a little
Yeah, it can be real
hectic,
tough.
but
It's
it's
a
okay.
commitment. It's a commitment that we've made, and it's a charge we have to keep. All right. Before we move on, I have this video. The way you dance when you finish eating some of the cow. Very, very interesting video there. Now let's move on to what's trending. Was the students, 12 graders, have ended was today. But very interestingly, they were all out in the streets celebrating as if they've graduated from university. And my daughter is telling me, yeah. She only said, I will put in the video here. They are all out they were all out celebrating today as if they've graduated from university or so. Watch this video. They went in at 12 grader than yo, Fatima, at 12 grader then. You did it too?
The children enjoying us. I remember back in the days in I think 91 or 92 when we finished our work, we're all on Ashmore Street pretending like we were the biggest chicks there in town, walking around from CWA there. So I understand where they're coming from. It's an exciting thing to feel like, oh, you're all growing up now. You're gonna be in college. I think that's it, and especially the ones that felt like they did well. That was good. I celebrate them too.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes in these celebrations, you don't even know whether you pass the was.
They,
You
they
even know
pass.
whether you feel, but you're
They
just
pass.
celebrating.
They pass.
They pass.
Yes.
How sure are you they pass?
When they pass to they want one of my lady nieces, her name is Irene. She come, she say, Auntie Fatima. I know the post. Yes, I was sleeping. I was taking the. I said, what I'm talking about my girl. So they pass. That I'll be chewing and smile ahead. They
Yeah,
pass.
you know, that's interesting. Stephen is in the background, and Mo isn't around. But again, let me announce what's coming up. Tonight, we will play host to the Minister of Youth and Sports, Jericho Bangalo. He's going to join us tonight to share the platform. He's going to be one of your instructors tonight. He will teach quality sports tonight, and you cannot afford to miss it. Let me also say that very interesting guest coming. We have a very big guest coming on tonight. I will not call the person name now. If you miss it, if you tune off, you will miss that particular guest. Hello? If you tune off, so can a big guest coming tonight, you will miss it. Hey, Mamo, Ichi, Fatima, Mamo, Ichi, oh.
Don't tell it to the students. We wanted to work hard for it. Yes, we wanted to work hard for it. Yep. Yep.
So tell somebody now, if you want to know the big guest, you share the show 5 times.
No,
Share the show.
you gotta share the show.
Yeah, that will tell you the big guests. The big guests are coming. But also coming up tonight, we will play host to Mr. Vani Dempster, correct? His name,
Yes,
Vani Dempster.
Ibrahima Vani Dempster. He's actually waiting.
Ibrahima Vani Dempster. This is the man who owns the property opposite Lone Star. That's the property that hosts the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. Today is the 10th of June. You all know very well that today should have been the day for the CDC to have left the premises there. So we will hear from him. And we have some very interesting communications that have landed on our decks. A letter from the coalition, the Congress for Democratic Change, to lawyers representing Mr. Dempster. We'll read that letter here to you. We also have the letter, a response from lawyers representing Mr. Ibrahima Vani Dempster. So he will join us tonight. You cannot afford to miss it. You cannot. You cannot. So what's trending at your end?
Well, today, what was trending the most was, the former speaker, aka the representative from Grand Crew. I think it's district number 5, right? Fonati Kofa.
No, district number 5, but district number 2.
Number 3, 2 or 3?
2, I think.
I think it's 3. It's 2, Anyway, Fonati Kofa. So he was going into his vehicle and he was asked, did you receive a phone call from the IG? He said, who IG? Tell him to not call me. No, he didn't call me. Tell him to not call me. Like, that was what was trending all over. And of course, the cow. The cow, actually, they say the cow had a lot of prayer warriors that prayed for the cow and the cow was not slaughtered. So, yeah. The cow is still surviving today. But yeah, that was what was trending. People going.
You sure the cow is still surviving? You sure?
The both of them are. But I think one of them was really malnourished. I think they said that one went to the hospital today. But we're yet to see.
The cow went to the hospital. You gotta be joking, man.
One of them was.
I will now my man out. Now my man at the fan blowing say the man was malnourished. Don't try my cow. Gotta switch. Tonight we will talk about this cow story once and for all. We'll talk about that as well tonight. I will not tell you what's coming up, but we'll talk about the cow story tonight. You cannot afford to miss tonight's edition, and everybody seems to be going backstage. Let me bring back Fatima. He seems to be going backstage. But anyway, so that's trending at your end.
Yes.
There was a cabinet meeting today. His Excellency
Yes,
the President called a cabinet meeting.
I was so proud of the female cabinet members. I was really proud of that. Yes.
Okay,
I was proud of that.
What was the essence of the cabinet meeting? I understand it was just.
I think it was an introduction of our seat that we won to the cabinet, to tell them of the greater responsibility that now the country now has. They'll be in front of the world, back on the world stage, and to encourage all the players to do their part to support the permanent seat members. I think that was it. I think it was just to encourage all of them, and to give the foreign minister also her props for what she did, ensuring that we got this seat. So I think it was a good thing. It was all around good thing for the government, for the people of Liberia. So let's tap ourselves on the shoulder. We did a good thing. We did it.
A quick reminder that tonight we'll play host to a guest whose name we will not announce as yet, but we ask you all to stay put. Stay put is going to be a very interesting guest tonight. We will not announce the name for some strategic reasons as yet. Let me also say that trending at my end, today, the preliminary hearing took place at the Monrovia City Court with 5 legislators who are charged with various crimes ranging from arson, criminal facilitation, criminal attempt to commit murder, criminal conspiracy, and you go on naming all of those charges. One of those charged, Representative Priscilla Cooper, through her lawyer, requested that she be tried separately from the others. I am understanding that the court granted that request. So if you follow today's proceeding, she left earlier and she abandoned her request for preliminary hearing, or her right to preliminary hearing. She abandoned it. That would mean that she wants to go straight into the trial, straight into hearing the case. So she didn't bother herself with the preliminary hearing that took place today, but the former speaker was there. Representative Dixon Sibo was there. Representative Abu Kamara and the Honorable Jacob. All of them were there today at the court. Very interesting developments. Fatima, did you follow?
I mean, I followed cleanly. I was listening, and I saw that they were all, I saw that the prosecution was there. The defense they were all there as well. And the part that I witnessed on, another network was that they actually said, when it came outside, they said that Miss Priscilla asked for to have a separate trial, and so she left the rest of them in, and that's when I saw the former speaker leaving as well later on after that. So I think the rule of law, they said that they are people of law. They've always professed that they wanted the law. The law is the law, so now the law has already started becoming the actual law. So we're super excited.
Great. So still at the court today, very interesting development. The Monrovia City Court today opened legal proceedings into, of course, the case involving some students. Lawyers representing, let me get Fadiga on. Lawyers representing the Liberia Football Association finally succeeded in indicting 4 students of the University of Liberia through the grand jury of Montserrat County today. 4 students. I don't know how many of you followed what happened at the Liberia Football Association headquarters when students went there and, burst into the building and tried to I'm not going to say that because it's in court. But today, the indicted students include Stephen Brown, Momo Buto, Christian Bryant, and Opidayo Jala. It seems as if the court is not joking. Fadiga, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, man.
You sound so low. Perhaps you got to work on your audio.
You can hear me now? You can hear me
Very
better?
well. Yeah, very well. Welcome.
You want me to jump in straight?
Yeah, you can go straight. Your thoughts.
Look, man, I watched the video. I actually watched the video. Patrick, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing one thing over and over. At some point, the nation have to graduate from one way of doing things. I am not a big fan of that student politics. I have never been. I will never understand it, but it seems like that fraternity organization on the University of Liberia campus has been there for so long, and nobody want to revisit it because these grown men, some of them way above the age of being college, rather than focusing on their education, spend time chanting and something. I don't know, but I think it's a little redundant. I think it's a little old-fashioned for this modern age where people should be seeking education. This is one of the few countries in West Africa that you see that happening. You don't see this kind of student politics in Ivory Coast, Guinea, Sierra Leone, or anywhere. Only in Liberia, the children spend more time doing these things, especially with the level of violence that I saw over there. I was shocked when I saw that thing, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's about time that we abolish the whole thing. I don't understand, it was done in a
I'm not going to agree with you to abolish student politics. You're talking about
because some of you guys went through that. I didn't go through it. So I'm still from a different side of the school of thought that believe that this is redundant. Back in the days when people were still fighting and we have the how to call that the progressive and all those things, times have changed. Times have changed. The children need to find something else to do because politicians have weaponized that thing for a long time. Whether it's this government or the last government, people have always used that as a means. And for that particular incident, I thought the court is doing the right thing because one of the reasons people do these things is because there is no deterrent mechanism.
But the student politics that's entered the private schools too, AMEU, AMEZU, not only LU now.
No, it's something that we should be doing away with instead of us encouraging it. I think students should be students. They should go to school. Even in the great United States of America, you better find students engaging in this kind of politics, especially the actual politics of the day. These guys go to school, they're hungry for education. Students should focus on school and forget about all this nonsense. Why were they there?
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll come back to you. We have our first guest on the line. But before we take our first guest, let me announce to you that today is the 10th of June, and there has been this issue with the court ruling in favor of the legit owners of the property opposite Lone Star that now hosts the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. Mr. Vani Dempster is on the line, but before he comes on, I want to read a communication from the CDC. This communication was written on the 4th of June 2025, the 4th of June 2025, and is addressed to the lawyer representing Mr. Ibrahima Vani Dempster. It reads, CDC writes, we refer to your communication of August 8th and 9th of 2024 reportedly to the Congress for Democratic Change relative to your client's offer to sell to the CDC the premises currently being occupied by and used as its national headquarters, which belongs to your client. This letter is to inform you that the Congress for Democratic Change accepts your offer and awaits your advice on when we can have a meeting to work out the modalities, including but not limited to its terms and methods of payment to enable us to consummate the purchase within the shortest reasonable time. As you are aware, the delay was primarily due to the attempted eviction of the CDC from said premises by the Civil Law Code, the 6th Judicial Code, blah, 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 blah. So this is a communication from the Congress for Democratic Change that was written on the 4th of June, a few days ago. Today is the 10th, so the 4th of June, 6 days ago, to the lawyer representing Mr. Vani Dempster. Mr. Vani Dempster's lawyer responded today, and this is a communication he sent out to the coalition, the Congress for Democratic Change. Today is the 10th of June, so he writes, Attorney Janga Ko, Acting National Chairman, CDC. We are in receipt of your communication dated June 4, 2025, in which you referred to our communication of August 8, 9, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go to the substance of this. The Congress for Democratic Change filed a bill. I'm going to also go to the substance. It means that I have to go to the next page of this so that, we just go. Consequently, there is no offer from our client to the Congress for Democratic Change for the property subject of your letter under reply. While our client is inclined in negotiating for the sale of his property with interested parties, including the Congress for Democratic Change, any such negotiations must be after the Congress for Democratic Change has vacated. Any such negotiation must be after the Congress for Democratic Change has vacated and surrendered possession of the property subject of your letter under reply to our client. Our client has instructed us to inform you that no negotiation for the sale and purchase of its property will take place as long as the Congress for Democratic Change remains on its property for negotiation to take place. Our client must first be in possession and occupancy of its property. In view of the above, the request to have a meeting with you on the subject matter of our client premises is hereby obliviated. Signed, Johnny Momo, Counselor at Law. Mo, before we take Mr. Vanny Dempster, your thoughts quickly.
You are on, Mr. Dempster. Go ahead.
Mr. Dempster is on now.
Good evening to all.
Yeah, we can hear
Good
you.
evening to all.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
sir.
Mr. Dempster. Nice to have you on. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm very good. And you?
Well,
We're
trying
fine,
to
thank
do-
you.
We're trying to be just as you are. So the first question for you.
Oh,
Today is the 10th of June. CDC should have left your premises. They haven't. What is the next move?
well, my lawyer advised me. First, yes, today is the 10th of June. Is the deadline for CDC being on my property. They communicated with my lawyer, informed my lawyer that they wanted to negotiate with me concerning the sales or the leasing of my property. My lawyer told me and showed me the communication, and I got back to him and give him the give him the directive that, look, how can CDC wants to talk to me about sales or leasing my property when I've given them 10 days, the 10 days has expired. And they haven't turned my property over to me yet. I said, how can CDC wants to talk to me when they're still holding my property? Now, look, I would like, is this public? I would like for
Yes.
Liberians to know that, all right, the deadline has expired. There is a process where the court has to give the Justice Ministry the go ahead to evict CDC off my property, and then Justice Ministry gave the police the go ahead with the sheriff to go in there. I would like to ask the Justice Minister to please take in consideration my situation, because I don't know where to go now. I've done the court. I thank the court. They've done their part. Maybe I would need a letter from the court to the Justice Ministry.
Mr. Dempster, let me ask you one question. You said you are asking the Justice Ministry, the deadline has expired. You are asking the Justice Ministry to move in and do the eviction. Is that what you're requesting?
That's exactly what I'm requesting for. Well, the time has expired. The time I gave them to be on my property has expired. So I kind of figured out that by the 10th, CDC would have gotten this stuff off my property, and then probably come to me and say, "Look, we want to talk concerning your property." But they're on my property and they're communicating with me. I think the court need to write the Justice Ministry, and the Justice Ministry get the police to move in and take my property back.
Yep.
Now, you are asking the Justice Ministry to move in and take your property back, but CDC communicated with you on the 4th of June, just a few days ago, and they are willing to negotiate with you to buy the property. Is it that you don't want to sell it to them or what?
Mm-mm.
No, sir. Look, I think I said that on the last interview that I have nothing against CDC. Nothing. Why wouldn't I want to sell my property to CDC if CDC got the money to pay me? But let me tell you something. The right, right is right. CDC has my property. But the time on my property has expired. They need to step off, give my property to me, then they can come and talk to me concerning sales or lease. I think that's the more rational thing to do.
I agree.
Let me ask a question. Mr. Dempster, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Sure, sir.
Okay, so what I understand is that, well, the court did the ruling, and that ruling is in your favor. But if you want an eviction, you have to go to the court and get an eviction order. That's what I understand. Have you got eviction order from the court?
Yes, I just sir, eviction order. I think. Well, I don't know much about this, about the system, the legal system, but.
Are you there, Mr. Ibrahima? Giving.
Fatima, we seem to be losing him. He's
Yeah,
off
so
and on.
so that what?
No, he's on now. It was what's up. Go ahead. They can hear you
I
now.
almost forgot. All right. I almost forgot the question.
No, you were just asking. Have you now?
If he has got eviction order from the court, and we brought in Councilor Cole Bangalore, even though to talk about youth and sport, but he is a lawyer, maybe he can make it clear for the public. What's the procedure in getting someone from your property?
Well, Mo, thanks so much, and thanks for having me on. Like you rightly said, I'm here to discuss Ministry of Youth and Sports, but as a lawyer, you want to tap on my experience. So what happens in this case, after the court renders a judgment, there is a writ of possession that is placed in the hand of the sheriff of the court. And the sheriff now has the authority to go and repossess the property and place it in the hands of the rightful owner.
So you heard, right?
I am sure by now, the sheriff has the writ of possession. And when the sheriff goes to the property and there is a sound of a resistance, then the sheriff can report that to the judge, who will instruct the clerk to inform the justice ministry, maybe the police, to give a backup to the sheriff so that the property can be repossessed.
Okay.
So, but Mr. Dempster, what if CDC comes to you and writes a follow-up communication to say, look, we've seen your communication. You have asked us that before we sit on the table to negotiate sale of this property, we should turn over the property, but we want to pay you cash down. The money you requested, the last time you requested 4.5. Is that something you are inclined to do?
I said it earlier, and I'm saying it again, that it's not all about the money. CDC needs to have a little respect for me too. I need my property. They've been on the property illegally for a period of time. I'm asking them to turn my property over to me first. Then everything else come after. It's not about how much they got and whether they got it now, and they're willing to give it to me. No, it's about giving me my property to me, and then after that we can talk about whatever else.
Oh, okay. So I get it now. You want to be in possession of the property
Yes.
first.
Yes.
Then the
My
CDC
property
can now come
first.
to say,
Yes.
let's discuss.
Yes.
I see. Okay. We went through
But, but,
similar
but,
things
but Mo,
with the vaccines.
Mo,
Yeah, Councillor Bangalu,
Hello?
go ahead.
Hello?
if, and he's
Yes.
right.
Yes. I can hear you.
Hold on,
Yeah,
Fatima.
so-
Councillor
so-
Bangalu, come in strong.
He was just asking if you have more questions.
So
Yeah, Councillor Bangalu
Mo,
is coming in. Yeah.
I think we should ask all the
he's
questions
right.
and then we can
He's
discuss
right.
afterwards.
He's
Yes.
right because after the rendition of judgment,
Uh-huh.
the property has to be turned over to the owner.
Yes.
Because that's the court's judgment. It has to be turned over. Then you could now decide if you want to negotiate with the owner to start the negotiation. But in the judgment, there's always a penalty in the judgment for wrongfully withholding the person's property. So any attempt to keep holding it continues to be wrongfully withholding it. And there is a consequence legally for that. So he's right.
And let me say this for the benefit of the public. The Unity Party had to pay $87,000
Right.
for possession, illegal possession to the McLean.
Wrongfully possessing the property. Yes.
Once the court had ruled and we were still there, we were fined $87,000. We had to pay that money to the McLeans before we could discuss anything else.
Right.
So he
Mr. Dempster,
Go ahead.
Yes.
Mr. Dempster, I will just come around. I have Dr. Lester Tenney on the line. Live. He may want to ask. I also have Hussein Fadiga. I have now Dwalu. Dwalu, welcome. Folks, you want to ask some questions to Mr. Dempster?
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, they can hear you. Yes, they can hear you.
Yeah. I didn't expect this to be this long.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect all these questions. Legally, there are some questions I might not be able to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate maybe if my lawyer was present, and that he could answer a lot of your professional questions.
That's not a problem. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Dempster. We really appreciate the
Well,
time.
lastly, Patrick, the question one person is asking from the have you received rent for your property from the CDC?
Oh yes, I have. I received rent, I think last year. That was for the period of time they were on the property were all paying. They were on the property for about 6 years. About 6 years were all paying rent to me. And when I won the case again in the I went back to the Supreme Court to get them to execute their judgment that they rendered 2016. The CDC came up and made a payment. Yeah, that was the first payment they made. They did pay the court costs later, and that's how come we started negotiation, because my terms was you would make my full payment before we can even sit down to negotiate anything, before we can sit and talk. And they came up with my payment and the court costs. That was 2 years. That was for the past 2 years. The CDC still owe me 2 more years.
Wow.
From 2
I
years
have one
ago.
quick question. Yes, go. Mr. Dempster, there has been rumor that there is this property developer that is interested. There could be multiple persons that are interested. Have you had any other offer contact, like besides the CDC? Have you had people coming to you for that property, or are there people in line that want that property at the moment?
Well, there should be a lot of people that will be interested. As you know, the property is
prime
be primarily located, yeah, and in a strategic position. So there will be a lot of people that will want that property and want to talk to me about it concerning.
Have any come forward?
What? Say that again.
Have anyone come forward to you?
Oh, there have been a couple of people that have expressed, just through conversation, expressed interest.
Is there any other question before Mr. Dempster can quickly leave? Anybody wants to ask something? Dr. Tini or Dwalu?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here wondering whether we are running a gangster paradise. Do we want to live in a country where grammar is the law? Do we want to live in a country where the sovereign, the state itself cannot protect the innocent? Do we want to live in a country where people talk about the rule of law, but yet
They don't abide.
are abrogating the very rule of law? I mean, the thing is not about politics, right? The modus operandi of the CDC is that we'll go and bear grammar. This cannot be a country where grammar becomes the law. This should not be a country where people think that they are above the law. This is an innocent man who is pleading with the state to repossess his property illegally occupied by a political entity that's supposed to be responsible in upholding the law. Because every opposition party is a government in waiting. How you can tell me you want to buy the property? So, as a matter of fact, the owner of the property decide who he wants to sell it to.
Period.
It's not a matter of months because you have rented from me. Because you have rented from me, therefore I am by right entitled to squat on your property illegally. We tolerate. The unfortunate part is CDC is headed by a lawyer. I mean, I don't know where we're going to, but this cannot be a country where grammar becomes the law. Then there is no state, there is no governance.
George Weah is a
That's
lawyer.
what I wanted to say.
I didn't know that.
I said the chairman. How can George Weah know that he?
Yeah, I didn't know that. But anyway, let me just make a point. The reason why Mr.
Is
Dempster,
gone, right? He's gone off,
he's
right?
here. He's here. He just wanted me to make this point clear. He
Okay.
said the only purpose why he wanted to come here was to appeal to the government. Through his lawyer, he will let his lawyer go to court and request an eviction. But he's asking if the sheriffs come and these people do not leave his property. He's begging the justice minister, the police, whoever, to ensure that these people leave his property. He is tired of fighting. He's just done. He just want the government to understand that he too is a citizen of Liberia and he has rights. Right, Mr. Dempster? That was the conversation we had today.
Yes.
That's what he told me. He
Yes.
said he's not asking for anything. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Fatima,
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Fatima,
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, sir.
Can I do that? Is that?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Minister, you wanted to say something to him?
Well, I'm just saying he doesn't have to beg. Like I said,
Just,
the sheriff is from the Ministry of Justice. The sheriff is in the court. The
Okay.
court will give the sheriff the writ of possession.
you hearing him, right?
The
Yes,
sheriff
I'm
goes there and there's a resistance. He will come and make his return. And the judge will act on the return of the sheriff and will have the clerk write the Ministry of Justice for backup. That's the
Okay.
normal procedure. So he doesn't
Isn't there a
have
time
to
frame
beg.
for that? Isn't there a time frame?
When the court renders judgment, once the writ of possession is issued to the sheriff now determines when to go there. So it's immediate. It's
Okay.
not something to say.
You
no,
heard, right,
no.
Mr. Dempster?
Yeah. But
Okay.
I think I think ma'am, with this the bill of information that was filed, and we won the bill of and we won that case. I think they need to go back to the court, cancel that bill of information case because it was useless, and then start another case of getting the court to
Issue the possession.
recognize, issue, the eviction proceedings.
Mhm.
That's the word. Eviction proceedings. Get them. It's a process you got to go through with this eviction proceedings to where you have to. Anyway, I'm not a lawyer. I can't explain it in details. I appreciate if my lawyer was here, he would explain it better.
All right.
Mr. Dempster, let
thank-
me ask you one final question. One final question.
Nah,
You're
sir.
saying that unless CDC vacates the premises, you will not negotiate with them for any sale. Correct?
Yes,
My final
sir.
question.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
As he
100%
should.
right.
As he should.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Mr.
so much,
Dempster.
sir. You are
Mr.
appreciated, okay?
You're welcome. You're welcome. And your
Thank you.
thanks too, man.
Mhm.
Thanks.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we go to our next guest, folks, I just want us to weigh in on this. Let me begin with Dwalu, and then I come across to everybody. At least 1 minute, 30 seconds each, at least.
Thank
max.
you, Patrick. To the rest of the audience, the other people, you're welcome. I just got an execution for possession yesterday. I was in the court trying to evict a tenant from one of my property here. That's the word he was looking for. And I don't know why CDC as a political organization will want to do this. This does not help anybody. If the court has ruled, you're going through the process. If you cannot negotiate in the back with a man, whatever it is, holding on to a man's property now is literally illegal. You cannot do this, especially for a political organization. Okay, it's not about pleading to an organization. This is not the issue of law. It's become the issue of law. It has nothing to do with whether somebody is mayor or back and forth. Look, I don't want this to happen to me in Liberia. I've had a similar case in Kakatan with a representative. Encroached on my property, literally destroy some of the cornerstone of the property. I took him to the court. He refused to show up. And I had to do what he did to get him off my property. But should we be doing that in Liberia? It shouldn't be that way. Ketakume More, me call your name one time. Ketakume More myself. And some of these things should not be happening in Liberia. We can't all be doing glang when it comes to property. The court should handle this. And I'm going to say this to the court before I get it back to you guys. If you have an individual or organization challenging the mandates of the court, it weakens the judicial process in our country. They must act and they must act immediately, because this is not just about the CDC or Mr. Dempster. It's about the Republic of Liberia being weakened by a decision being made by an organization that's refusing to follow the law. All I got to follow the law. That's what I'm going to say. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Dwalu. We'll come back to you. Councillor Bangali, you want to talk about this or not? From a legal perspective, perhaps.
Well, I mean, I don't think so. Well, look, if the bill of information that he talked about, for example, was filed before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court dismissed it, the only thing that will happen would be the Supreme Court will send the mandate down to the lower court to resume jurisdiction and enforce the judgment. I mean, that's what will happen. But I mean, just leave it as it is, because he has a lawyer, and I know his lawyer is one of the most experienced lawyers, Councillor Johnny Momo. So they know exactly what they will do. So I will just wait for my minister.
Let me move on to Dr. Tenney. Dr. Tenney, 6 years CDC was in power. This man said they are still indebted to him for his property. What do you think? You all were there.
You see, The way CDC is managed, everything revolves around Josh Weah. You have the National Executive Committee elected, but there is no decision that is ever contested once Weah speak. So the organization itself is like a court where you have a shrine managed by an Igodo. In Nigeria, they call it Igodo. We are supposed to be a peace ambassador. And we are looking at what move he will make relative to the repossession of a Liberian citizen's property. A peace ambassador. That title itself has a weight. You cannot be a peace ambassador to go and visit alleged criminal in South Beach, but when it comes to turning over a private citizen property, then the peace ambassador title is held dormant. The peace ambassador position should cut across every spectrum of your life and your honor taking. We are supposed to ensure the smooth transfer of a private Liberian citizen property, because they have all the time to have negotiated with the man. They have all of the resources at that time. I'm sure they still got some. They have all of the leverage. At that time, the man was asking for 1.5 million. But again, knowing the kind of people they are, they believe that the exercise of brute force at the end of the day will triumph over the rule of law. We cannot run this country like this. By the way, there is a whole government. There is no majority in the CDC as compared to the Unity Party. The Unity Party has more supporters as per the election result as compared to the CDC. So the CDC should not believe that they have monopoly over scaring people. I mean, you cannot scare people. And you cannot pretend that when you scare people, then they will succumb. This is not a country where people will decide to use might to compensate for the law. We are watching what this government will do, because this is a landmark case. Tomorrow it could be Mo Ali, where his property will be squatted upon by a gangster, and they say they can't move. And they will be referencing what happened to the CDC that they put Bear Gramo and they didn't move. So we ourselves will Bear Gramo and will not move. This country got security apparatus are supposed to protect the lives and property of its citizens. We must play the honorable role as a peace ambassador to vacate the man's property. The man is operating in good faith, Mo. The man says, leave my property, we can negotiate. I mean, what more do you want from this man? You know, okay, I mean, all right.
All right. I thought I saw Steven Johnson on it. But Hussein Fadiga, you want to take a go at it?
It is unfortunate. I guess had the CDC won the election, probably this guy his property would have been taken away from him, based on what I'm seeing. These are people that they do not care about the law. How can you be a sitting? Look, see, nothing happened to the Unity Party. They graciously left from there, went to a new place. And, you know, they were all around celebrating. Now, when it comes to them, I think it's incumbent upon this government now to uphold the rule of law. I think that's the only thing. There shouldn't be any politics with this. When it comes to that town, the law should take a course. And I agree with Mr. Dempster. Turn the property over to me and then do it, because it's so simple. But these guys had no intention of paying or relinquishing that property. That was the intention. So now it's difficult, because that place has been a symbol of the CDC. Imagine losing that kind of structure where everybody know, especially the infamous Sycamore tree that Dr. Tani said you want to cut down. Please save one branch for me. But yeah, I think we're looking at our government now to see what it would do. The law should take a course. That's all we're waiting for. The case has been decided. So
Okay, so Patrick, Stephen Johnson, you want to take a go at it?
No, but I mean, there's been. Thank you, Patrick, and the rest of the team. I think it's been largely discussed. I thought the CDC would have learned from the UP's experience of 2017. Unfortunately, they didn't. But in our case, one could see the extent to which the party got divided, and so that impacted the party a lot. But I thought the CDC would have learned from the UPs. In the case of the UP, I remember Ali has said the night before the eviction, the party mobilized some people. They went there and took all their property so that the things couldn't be through in the streets. And now, in the case of the CDC, the unfortunate part is that we're in the rainy season. So by the time the eviction takes place and some of your things thrown out in the rain, I'm afraid that you might lose most of your personal effects. So I would think they should mobilize the militant instead of taking them to courts and to prison compound to, obstruct justice, but use them to move some of the things. I think this is also a perfect opportunity for the school that hasn't graduated anyone to now be relocated to a place where they can now, really, really, really produce candidates. Because it's been 6 years, we've not seen a single graduate from that school.
That school has graduated at least one.
I don't know what is happening. It's almost like the Fokekron Church, almost 6 years, no baptism. So, I hope I hope they can mobilize the militant to move the thing. But Ali, not to believe on that thing too much. I think the law is the law, as everybody will say. And if the court rules, I think all of us are under obligation to follow the procedures.
So Patrick, let me give my take on this whole thing about possession of property. And Stephen has stated what happened to the UP in 2021 December. We did not resist. Our lawyers went to the court. We were not taken by force possession of the McLean's property. We had issues around the cost relating to the rent. At a certain point, we could not afford it, and so they said leave. We left, and then the court ruled that we had to pay for illegal possession or something. And the court said that amount was $87,000. We talked to the McLeans up and down, we had to pay. But here is where I want to come from. When ordinary poor citizens squat on people's property and the court ruled in the property owner's favor, the police go there and they guide the property owners who takes a bulldozer there and break down the ordinary people's little buffer they build there. I've seen 2 instances in recent time. One, when in Congo Town there, what the lady name? Monica Town mother-in-law. That place in Congo Town.
Grace Manor.
Grace Manor. Her property was, people were illegally squatting on it. She went to the court. The court gave her that paper where they say possession, repossession, whatever. They carry bulldozer hats on and they broke them down. Then around the Catholic as well, that area there. Then just on Saturday, right here to Nima, what the place name? Is it Nima Point or somewhere before going to Fender? Nima United. You both have bulldozer there breaking down houses because he has a land there that people build on. These are ordinary people, and there are many of them. They could have done grumble and all these kind of things. But once the court has said to Mr. Uboti, this is your property, you have the right to reclaim your property, the police went there with him. You can only negotiate. Now, if the property owner says no, leave from there. Nobody owns their property and say, okay, here the political party comes and settle that. And you just make grumble. Every time they to do. Now when the police go there, they say, oh, it's witch hunting. The police come in, attack the CDC. So you're taking the main property by force? It's not yours. We could have done the same grumble. Then when police people come, will say, oh, they witch hunting us. In fact, it's illegal. They are politically motivated events and this and that. Even though we heard many things, many things, we did not one day mention them because we knew that the property is for the McLeans, and they say they want our property. We left. Today we are in very good book with the McLeans, and if we have the money, we can go back to the McLeans and negotiate with them and say, look, this property we really like it, we want to buy it. And they will give us the preference. In fact, they have indicated to the Unity Party that if they are selling the property, the first preference will be given to the UP because of the way we treated them, left their property with no grumble, nothing. Thank you. Patrick is now on, but again, gentlemen, the lady we invited here tonight, the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Councillor Gerald Ko Bangalu, who has been in that position for a little over 1 year. He's here with us to tell us how he met the Ministry of Youth and Sports, where is it today, what are the programs they are doing to empower young people in our sports area as well. How are they treating former Lone Star players and all of this kind of thing. But we will give him the chance for at least 2-3 minutes to tell us where he met the ministry and where is it today. Councillor Bangalu.
Thank you so much, Mo, and thanks to the panelists on the class Reloaded. I'm really, really happy to be here and to give you my perspective about the Ministry of Youth and Sports and to tell you exactly what we met and where we are. So we took over last year, March. We met the ministry, especially the staff, with a very low morale. Very low morale because of very low salary. In fact, when we had a discussion with the CSA, it was established that we were the least paying government entity. Directors and assistant directors were making as low as $200 monthly. Ministry of Youth and Sports. And that's why when I hear other ministers come and cry, sometimes I just say I'll wait for my time to let the public know what we met. So we met some directors making $150, some of them $200. What did we do? We sat with the CSA and said, this is unacceptable. It is inhumane. I am from the labor background. You know, I served as Deputy Minister of Labor before. We cannot treat our people this way, especially qualified people. So we sat with the CSA, we did salary analysis, and we proffered suggestions to them, and they accepted it. And at least immediately there were some adjustments in the pay structure of the directors and other employees. So there was taken up to a little over $2,000. The HR director over $1,000. The deputy controller over $1,000 or around there. And then all other directors, minimum $750. And all assistant directors, minimum $500. It is still not the best, but at least we thought those adjustments were necessary. And we started also tapping the salaries of the ordinary employees based on the payroll analysis. And I must give it out to Director General Jokai and his deputy, Darlington Smith, who were very cooperative. We still felt that the disposable income of the employees was low. So what did we do. Now, we met the ministry with one used vehicle, and that's the one I inherited from the former minister, Zoga Wilson. So no deputy minister had a vehicle, no assistant minister. We did not have any money in the budget to procure new vehicle until 3 months ago, when we had close to $50,000. So we sat as senior managers, and I must give it out to my deputy and assistant ministers. We said, what can we do? We have $50,000 now to procure at least 2 vehicles. And it will surprise you to note that all of my colleagues, the deputy and assistant ministers in that meeting, unanimously agreed that rather than buy a vehicle for deputy or assistant ministers, let's procure 2 buses for the employees. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, we procured 2 buses for the employees that now taking the employees to work and bike home. No deputy minister has been bought a car. I myself, I'm still using an old car. No assistant minister has a new car. The only 2 new cars, like I said, are the 2 buses, and it's for the employees because we didn't want to adjust the pay at least, and then they still have to be paying their way to work and bike. So that is it, and we're still in the situation wherein we do not have new vehicle, but we are making the sacrifices. We also had a situation of encroachment of our land, serious encroachment of the land. Most of the land had been leased for no reason by the previous administration, most of our property. And so we started to evaluate. But yet there were some that were just encroached upon illegally by squatters. So if you were to visit our place now, over the past 1.5 months, we work with the Ministry of Public Works. We have repossessed a significant portion of our land because the president has been emphasizing this idea of repossessing our property. So if you go at the right to play in, even where you had the police station, the police depot, everything has been taken and demolished, and we repossessed a good portion of our land. In fact, the Ministry of Public Works asked us to use that particular facility for the Chinese engineers that are building or supposed to build the overhead bridge. So right now, they are now using that particular facility. At the ministry, we decided, because we are housed here at the SKD Sports Complex. So we decided to do some work. There are a lot of open areas there. So we changed them and continued to rehabilitate these facilities. So we have a modern conference hall, well furnished, refurbished, and it can be used by any institution or individual for any glamorous purpose. It is available. So we have a modern state-of-the-art conference hall that is built.
All right, Councillor
That
Bangalo,
is administrative. That is administrative. Now,
thank you.
You want
Thank
to
you.
go to sports?
Yeah, we'll come to the sports. We'll ask the question, but I wanted to ask first. When we come here, every project people talked about, it is a WIA project. So all that you explain, which one there is a WIA project and which one is your project?
Well, everything I explain is something we did. It's not about, the employees, we met the employees, the directors, making as low as $200. So it's under our administration, we carry up to $2,000 for controller and HR around $1,000 plus, and then all directors $750. And then all assistant directors are being adjusted to $500. So it is under our administration, under JNB, under this present administration. And it's an open secret. You can talk to the employees. They will confirm what we've done. The challenge we having right now, and I will come to that when I come to technical vocational education. But
Okay.
to answer you more, it is under our administration.
All
So
right.
let me give you a synopsis.
No,
of-
I mean,
of what
as we go on, we ask the questions, then you will answer there. So I wanted to ask you my second question, and
Okay.
this one pertains to sports. Of late, we've been hearing concerns about former Lone Star players from them that in past time government are not care for them, and we see some of our heroes around here, people who have done the justice of the national thing and brought pride and joy to this country. Are there plans to incorporate these people to start taking care of them, even if it is a monthly stipend, quarterly or biannual stipend? Are there plans for that? And what are some of the welfare programs you are doing for them?
So more, I will now go straightly into sports. And to begin with, let me start with your question. So when we went for confirmation hearing, we informed the public that we knew there were former Lone Star players who are aged and they had social protection problem. And I vividly saw a lot of former Lone Star players die unattended to. You mentioned the late Paul Dazi, Boy Cooper, Thomas Freeman, Wilfred Ladner, Joker Reka, and you name it. So I thought these people, some of them, their whole life was football. They played for the Lone Star and did nothing else until the age. They had no other profession. So we needed to institute something through national budget that resembles social protection. Well, how do you do it? You have to do it by working by an organized group. Fortunately for us, there was the former Lone Star Players Association. So I called the president, Mr. Washington Blade, and we had a discussion. And I said, look, this administration under JNB, we are doing everything to place you people in the national budget. And so we did just that. We placed the former national team players in the national budget. They are there currently, and we started with $25,000 US. As we speak, I am told they have even received that amount. So yes, the former national team players under us are now incorporated in the national budget. It's not just the former national team players. We have the Liberia Ottawa National Association that has veteran players also going there for health purpose and exercising. We incorporated them in the national budget, $25,000 US, and they also have access to that amount. We intend to increase that, as time goes by, but that is a way to begin. So to answer your question, they are now reflected somehow in the national budget more. $25,000 to the former national team players, $25,000 US to the Liberia Ottawa National Association. But mind you more, there are 32 sporting federations that we have to work with. 32. So we are not just football centric. You have the basketball, you have the amputee, you have the deaf and dumb, you have the kickball, you have volleyball, you have taekwondo. I mean, there are 32 of them. You have the surfing federation, you have the wheelchair basketball. We have to work with these 32 federations. The cake is little, very little, but we have been impressing on the government to make sure we spread our support to these federations. And for the first time, Mo, Liberia hosted the surfing competition here in Grand Cape County under this administration. Surfing was introduced. We ensured that the Amputee Federation participated in their international competition under this administration. We ensured for the first time ever that the Liberia Wheelchair Basketball Federation 3 months ago represented Liberia in the international wheelchair basketball competition in South Africa, 100% sponsored by the government. The female football, they've been doing remarkably well. They won the Mana River Union tournament, and recently they came third in the WAFU competition in Mauritania, 100% sponsored by the government of Liberia. We make sure all of these federations get a piece of the cake. Last year, you followed the Paris Olympic. We were in Paris. Firstly, starting with the All African Games in Ghana, and then the Paris Olympic. You saw Liberian athletes, how they performed so remarkably. They were sponsored by the government of Liberia. So a lot more has been happening in sports. And development-wise, we have taken some steps to improve the stadium, the SKG Sports Complex. A few weeks ago, to ensure FIFA compliance, we brought in modern dugout seats, state-of-the-art, FIFA-compliant dugout seats. And let me just let this out. The floodlights that can ensure or should ensure night games. The floodlights have been off since 2017, 2018. We have done all of the procurement processes beginning July 8th. The work on the floodlight will commence, and we are assured by the contractors that 3 weeks thereafter, the lights will be restored. So
thank you, Councillor. Stephen Johnson. Stephen,
the lights will be restored.
Yeah, Stephen, go ahead.
Thank you, thank you, Councillor Bangalu, and welcome. My question will come from the. I remember a few years ago there was this Beach and Waterway project. It used to be in the Ministry of Finance. It was migrated to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. After a while, there was some controversy, I think, under the last administration, and that project went down. Well, that project provided a lot of opportunities for people, especially in slum community. What is your administration doing regarding either re-establishing or reawakening that project, or maybe starting something that could potentially, create opportunities for people, especially in those slum communities?
So that project has been upskilled and upgraded. Well, let me give you a brief history of that project. So that project we inherited. I think you heard some time ago the beneficiaries were protesting because they said that the previous administration owed them 1 month for work they did in 2023. So we validated their claim, and indeed there was an outstanding arrear of 1 month. So so we made a request to the Ministry of Finance to pay the 1 month arrear. Of course, they kept protesting, but we kept talking to them. So the amount they claimed for the arrear was around $400,000 plus. But this time we said to them, because the auditors had informed us that they were not certain about the payment methodology then and about the medium of payment, and even the individual beneficiaries, they wanted payment to be done in person. So we lined the auditors up and we asked the beneficiaries to come in person. And I would like to inform you that after a protracted period, we exhausted the payment, but we came to realize that a good number of people were not real human beings. So we were able to save more than $60,000 US.
Councillor, let me make a
We
follow
have-
up on our question. When you say a
So
good
the
number of
60,000 US dollars.
Councillor, please.
Yes.
Let me make a follow up on our question. When you say a good number of people were not real human beings, explain it. What do you mean for the sake of the public?
Okay, so because we asked them to come in person, the real people came in person. The payment in the past was done through mobile money. So they would just send that bulk payment through mobile money. But this time we said, come in person with your valid ID card. So they came one by one in person. And after we exhausted all of the human beings that came, and we gave time for people to come, and we saw that no one else was coming, we then appreciated over time that we had excess. So we had excess of 60,000 US dollar plus, and we have notified the finance ministry.
Councillor, let's
about the
put
excess.
it straight. Let's put it straight. My people are big here. So, for example, you inherited a payroll there of maybe 1,000 persons, and they were paying
Exactly.
them through mobile money. But when you say the people
Exactly.
come to receive their pay what by themselves, then it reduced,
Yes,
right?
it reduced.
Have you investigated
reduced.
what was happening? Because some of the stories we heard is that they created the mobile money account, they took the SIM cards, and officials of the then Ministry of Youth and Sports were paying themselves through the Beachway project. They will send the money to the mobile money. Some had 30, 40, 50 SIM cards. They will send the money there. They know the password. Then they go and collect it from the mobile money vendor. Have you investigated that?
And also the auditors, in fact, internally, some people provided information like that to us. And so the auditors were keen on following through. And because the auditors were convinced of the information they received, they then sat with us and recommended they wanted in-person payment. So we asked everyone to come in person. We arrested some people who falsified some documents, fake NIR document and fake ID cards, but there were legitimate people who also came and they got their money. Well, I can tell you that 60,000 US dollars was saved because the rest of the people did not show up,
So
and they were just not
60,000
available.
US dollar per month or what?
Of the total amount that was owed for that 1 month, close
So
to
that
400,000 was owed.
So what that
That
means
was the-
was that what that means was that people were pocketing 60,000 every month.
That's what it looks like because the payrolls that we inherited, they were always doing 100% payment. So that's what it looks like.
Stephen Johnson, ask your second question. I'm baffled though.
My second question is, have there been any audits of the previous administration? We heard news of people absconding with vehicles from the previous administration. Have you done any audit, be it physical or financial audit, to determine the level of damage that your predecessor they have left you with?
Well, there was some fixed asset audit done by the Internal Audit Agency, and it helped us to secure 2 vehicles. One was parked in Konya, Lofa County, but the user then was able to cooperate with us and he brought it, but in a very damaging condition. And then another one, which was supposed to be used by a project, was taken by a deputy minister, and you only have an empty frame now in one garage in Bannersville. And so the audit report validated that those 3 vehicles were actually missing. But then when we contacted the individual former deputy ministers, one of them actually said the car broke down in Lofa.
Minister, the man get name?
Well, Minister Peter Beamer, for example, cooperated, and he brought the car from Lofa, and he turned it over to us. Mr. Isaac Doe was using a project car, and he said the car was in a garage in Bannersville. But when the crew went there, they saw empty frame. It was lying on its belly. So it was not a car. And so we just discounted that. We notified GSA anyway about that. So they have the records and the information on that. But everything else from the car was removed, including the engine and everything. But the ministry itself didn't even have vehicles, like I said. And so, I mean, that's the situation. Yeah.
Hussein, and when Hussein finished, I just want you to look on the screen and read the question there from Mayfield Deco. Maybe you can touch on it later. It says, is the Ministry of Youth and Sports letting those criminals go without any investigation and prosecution?
So, no, Minister, thanks for joining us.
Answer that later. That Hussein go.
My first question is all about the youth. Drug addiction is one of my passions in this country. I know youth unemployment is a serious problem. The other day you said that government is not responsible for employment. I don't think I'm not just quoting verbatim, but that's what we heard. And then you also increased the sector clearance fee. Is there a specific reason why that fee was increased, and how does this hurt or help that sector?
So the first thing, there was a misrepresentation of what I said about the unemployment thing. I was simply responding to a question, and in my response, I mentioned that the primary role of government is not to create jobs, but to create the environment for jobs to be created. And then people took it out of context. Well, I think we passed over that because they understood. They played my recording over and again, and they came to appreciate that I actually said what everyone else has been saying, that where we need to invest more is the private sector, and especially for Liberia, agriculture, is the key area. And so that's for that. So you talk about drugs. What's the question again about the drugs?
What about the fee?
Oh, the sector clearance fee. Well, look, at the ministry, we have 4 departments. I'm at the helm of the ministry. So you have the Department of Youth Development. Part of what the deputy minister and team saw was there was just this issuance of different clearances for youth organizations. So the deputy minister and team did a holistic assessment of the department and recommended that at least there should be an appreciable fee that is paid. I think the amount that was paid in the past was around $50. So they recommended to ensure the integrity of the clearance and so they had consultation with the statutory youth organizations and other youth bodies. So they agreed to increase it to just $100. Yes.
The next question is, what specific strategy have you guys, or what are you guys doing when it comes to rehabilitation for youth and youth unemployment? Because I think the last time I gathered that youth and sport, the Ministry of Health and few other organizations, I think gender, the president constituted a body to look into that. What have become of that body that was established to tackle this problem?
So the president announced and set up a national task force on drugs and substance abuse. It's headed by the Minister of Health with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Gender, the Drug Enforcement Agency, and other institutions. It's a whole multi-sectoral institution. But prior to that, because statutorily we have a responsibility to ensure youth development. So we have been running a project. It's called the At-Risk Youth Project. And that project is in partnership with the One UN through UNFPA. So what that project has been doing is it has been focusing on rehabilitation of at-risk youth. So if you remember, sometime last year, there were close to 123 at-risk youth that were graduated from the rehabilitation centers. And these centers spread across the country. The at-risk youth program is financed by both the government of Liberia and the UNFPA. It should be a matching fund thing. But over the past years, the government was not remitting their portion. The UNFPA said bring 500,000, we matched it with 500,000, which is $1 million per annum. But the government was not remitting their portion. So the first thing we did was to insist on the Minister of Finance that there's a need to live by your side. So at least in the national budget, there is that $500,000 there now for at-risk youth rehabilitation. But we worked and we graduated those at-risk youth. We didn't just leave them like that. We put a mechanism in place to do follow-up. So the Ministry of Gender has a responsibility through the social workers there to follow through. Because what we did, we didn't just let them go. If you did tailoring, we provided the kit. We bought sewing machine, we bought cloth, we bought all of the accessories needed so that you can go and start a little business. We also provided at least 1 year house rent for each of them. So the Ministry of Gender has been working with us to do follow-up. And the last report I received, Hussein, is that about 80 to 85% of those graduates are doing extremely well. Some of them who learned baking, we bought oven for them. Some of them who did carpentry, we bought all of the carpentry tools for them. So they've been doing well. Over the past 1 year, we decided, look, there are private individuals who have gathered at-risk youth at their centers. What do we do about them? For example, Reverend Joshua Milton Blai. If you go to Mount Barkley, you have more than 300 young people that he is taking care of. You go to Starbase, you have a guy there called Nangme, they call him General Powell. You have more than 500 young people there. You have the Daros Deron Center. So we said, look, how can we identify with these centers in this phase? So we started moving to these centers and providing assistance to the centers. So all of these centers, most of these centers have received support from the ministry, food items, giving them financial support, just because we know as people they're doing something on their own. It doesn't make sense to keep establishing rehab centers when you already have centers that private individuals are trying their best to maintain. So our focus this year has been, how do we provide support to those centers? But trust me, we strongly believe that that's not the only way to go and resolving this whole thing about at-risk youth or rehabilitation. That's why we blend it with TVET. Last month.
Go ahead. I just wanted to ask for 30 seconds for one little follow-up. Yeah.
So again, I can pause.
All right. If you want, I can ask. Are you guys vetting this institution? Because I'm from the background of therapists too. So it's not about quantity, it's about the quality. If this will have to work. And you mentioned a couple of areas that some of them have some questionable way of treating these kids. I have my own reservation about them. Are you guys vetting this institution, or any Joe Blow can just jump on and say, you know what, I'm going to open a rehabilitation center? Because even though it's needed, but is the government vetting this? Are there any stringent measure to make sure that these guys are following the real medical practice and ensuring that this work, or just people just create this institution just for profit? So are you guys vetting them as well?
We inherited, Fadiga, the ones we inherited.
The private ones, those private ones.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I'm answering your question. I'm saying for those ones that we inherited, we didn't vet them. But unfortunately, they already have these young people that they are catering to. So what we have decided to do is to work with the Ministry of Health, because the whole thing about rehabilitating these people is a mental health issue. Work with the Health Ministry through Dr. Zia and others to see how they can move in to start assisting. Moving forward, we said, look, it has to be well structured, like you are suggesting. So one area that we all determined is the Youth Agriculture Training Center in Bensenville. So we moved there as a task force. We examined the facility. It's a huge place. We said, look, this is where, as a government, we want to begin the whole rehabilitation thing on a serious note. So as we speak, there's serious rehabilitation work going on at the YATC. The boys' dormitory is being rehabilitated. The Ministry of Health is about constructing a health center there. And so when that area is finalized, then those vettings and the kinds of professionalism that is required will be instituted. But these ones that we inherited, where people recruited these people, we just send the professionals there to start standardizing them. And what we're trying to do also is to link it and align it with our TVET operation.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So the technical vocational education and training, we believe, is the most sustainable way for the rehabilitation process, because it's not just go, you pray with them and you lecture them, but you want to make them employable. So the Deputy Minister for TVET, last month, we launched the Skills for Work program that will incorporate people who have been psychologically rehabilitated, and also we now including the motorcyclists. So we have 250 motorcyclists that have enrolled into our program who said, look, motorcycle riding is not a career, it's not a profession. I mean, they themselves sat with us and said, we want a profession that will guarantee our employability, not motorcycle riding. So we had training with them. We worked with the Motorcycle and Tricycle Union. 250 of them have been recruited. And by the next cycle in July for our vocational training programs, we hope to admit these people into the vocational training program.
Thank you, Minister. Let me ask my question, because I got to run away from you guys. And thank you for especially mentioning the issue about the private sector and about job creation in the country, because I firmly believe this is the only place that we're going to rev up this economy and kind of employ the kind of mechanisms that are going to improve the conditions in Liberia. But when you were speaking, you mentioned that the cake is too small. And I do appreciate that you went back and put some money into the budget for the former Lone Star players, for the old timers, etc. My question to you is the ministry, what percentage of the ministry's budget that is being generated outside of government allocation? Are you generating what percentage? 10%, 20% outside? And what are you doing to generate that money?
Well, we're not an income generating entity. So we're partnering with donors who are funding some of our projects. For example, the EU, and I will be very ungrateful if I were not to mention the EU through UNIDO. They have taken on our TVET operations. They have improved our TVET facilities to the extent that they have committed to us that in the next 24 months, they want to ensure that every county will have a state-of-the-art modern TVET facility.
Are you still there? I think he's frozen.
So right now, they have rehabilitated, right? You getting me now?
Okay, so while he's coming and move, I think
Yes, we're getting you.
Okay, so I think you were in
You
your
get me,
mind.
right? You getting me now?
Yes.
Now we're getting you back.
Yes.
So there is a TVET school that we run. It's called the BDOT.
Yes, we're getting you.
Okay, so I think you were in
So
your
that's
mind.
school.
You getting me now? Now we're getting you back.
I think you have to mute. We've been joined by James and Tiba. James, you have to mute.
Yeah, okay, so I think you were in your mind, right? Thank you. My second question to you is, Honorable Minister, and I will say this question before I go. The Ministry of Youth and Sport, and I will be the first person to say this, I'm entirely ignorant to the extent of your responsibility to the public and the young people in the country. Now, I do understand the Ministry of Youth and Sport is not entirely responsible for job creation. However, it has a responsibility to have some impact on the lives of the young people across the country. Now, what percentage of Liberian, and when I say youth, I want people under the age of 25. That's my focus. I believe people over 25, they're working adults. We should be finding employment for them, not just to the government, but especially to the private sector. What percentage of the young people in the country you think the Ministry of Youth and Sport is reaching?
So the census report of 2022 is clear that about 74% of the population of this country are youth and young people. So our target is that huge number that will reach these targeted people. We have constraints, budgetary-wise, implementing these programs under the TVET program, where we have about 3 or 4 technical vocational institutions that we are fully responsible for. The Moreover Vocational Training Center, the Tumutu Vocational Training Center in Bon County, and the Business Development Occupational Training Center here, and then the Clear Vocational Training in Bomi County. That is a good way to impact and ensure the employability of the young people. We always said youth development should be tied to TVET because we believe through the TVET, they learn the required skills and they become job ready. So we also know that we have worked with the IECD and other partners. We have done some surveys. We intend to move beyond even those who want to introduce what they call prior learning. We come to realize that a good number of our young people have skills, but they don't have certificates. What do we do about them? For example, go at the garages. They begin call Ansu who can repair more car, come on down back road. That picking, he ain't got no certificate. But I'm making overhaul truck. And more I didn't know the beginning. So what will you do about that kind of man? So through the prior learning thing, it's been established that those kind of people, we just bring them to the vocational program. Because when they go to Mitar Steel to secure a job right now, they can't get a job because they don't have documents. When we tenant overhaul this car, they can overhaul the car. So all of these whole standardization and ensuring that they become employable. We also at the Tumutu Agricultural Vocational Center in Sarala Bon County, that is one center that is straight for agriculture. So there, we're currently benefiting from some little support from the ECOWAS Agro Grant. They just granted a project. Now,
Patrick, Councillor Bangalu seems to be having issue with his internet.
Councillor, you seem to be having some serious issues, but let me welcome the most celebrated soccer star, James Diba. Thanks for joining us tonight, Jimmy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
With the iconic number 10 jersey. Minister Bangalu, iconic number 10 jersey. You didn't retire that number 10, though.
No, but it's impossible. Nowhere in the world, Patrick, nowhere in the world people retire national team players jersey. Nowhere in the world.
But the number 10 was retired. I mean, just off the cuff.
Well, that's unprecedented. I have not seen that before. Nowhere in the world. You can check. The great Brazil, Pelé number 10 will never retire. Neymar used the number 10. You go in France, the same. Mbappe,
Ronaldo,
number
the
10.
same thing.
And that jersey was worn by Michel Platini. You don't retire national team jerseys. Only club teams. If Mother Barrow won't retire my jersey,
I learn new thing. There you go. Folks, you
see, if Mother Barrow won't retire my jersey number 10, that I will appreciate.
No, but even Mare Barrow. Anyway, we'll come back to you, James. But Minister Bangalu, I want to throw some questions out to you. And my questions will go towards sports and some other areas. The very first thing I want to ask is, maybe you will just take note of the questions and then respond, or perhaps I'll ask and you respond. The lighting system at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex during the last county meet was completely bad. As a matter of fact, games were not played certain hours. Games were forced to penalties without the usual extra 30 minutes. I don't know what's the status of it. We are moving into another county meet. We need to know where we are with that, including the electronic scoreboard. The next question would be, I see a structure being erected in the SKD Sports Complex yard, just on the main road there, that structure, but it's in a fence. Some would say it's a hotel they are building there. Some other people say that some other structure. You care to tell us what exactly they're building there? The third one is that Chinese hotel there, the Chinese hotel. Our understanding is that that place belongs to the SKD Sports Complex. So if that is true, what arrangement did you all enter into? I know government is continuity. Did you all enter into to get that particular place? And the final one would be the garbage that is concentrated just outside of there's somewhere there that is so irritating. You know, when you're coming right on the road there, I think the police people are just in the fence there outside. There's huge stockpile of garbage, and that place is almost always filled with garbage outside there. What is it that the ministry is doing to be able to deal with that? Thank you. Minister?
Okay, Patrick.
Yeah.
So you getting me now? Are you getting me? Okay, so if you're getting me, Patrick, so
Patrick, his internet seems to be having problem.
Am I okay now?
Your
Yes, you are,
internet is
Minister.
problem.
I can
So
hear you
try.
now.
All right. So the issue of the floodlight, you need some assurance, right? That the next county meet will be placed on a light. So take it from me that the next county meet will be placed on a digitalized floodlights. All right? So that's my answer. So by July, the technicians from Holland will be here to ensure they do a complete rehabilitation of the lights. And before the end of July, hopefully, they will be finished. So I can assure you that the next county meet will be played not 2 o'clock, will be played under the lights in the night like normal days. You talk about the facility that is being constructed that looks like a hotel outside, right at the front of the ministry. Somebody called me the last time and said, why you give the place out to a Chinese, to Indian people to do hotel? Let me just inform the public through this media that structure is owned by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. It has been constructed through a partnership arrangement with the EU through UNIDO, and it is actually called the National Hospitality Training Hotel. It is for the government, it is for the Ministry of Youth and Sports. It's actually for our school, the BDOTC, the Business Development Occupational Training Center. The whole idea is for the graduates from that school to use that as a training center. They will run it like a hotel, but they will also be using it for training purposes. So that structure is owned 100% by the government. It will be turned over to us. It's being constructed through a partnership with the EU and UNIDO, and that structure will be turned over to the government perhaps in the next few months. So it's not owned by any private individual. You talk about the hotel, the Golden Gate Hotel, right?
Yes, sir.
So the Golden Gate Hotel is a complex one. So it was constructed years back along with the stadium. The total cost of the hotel, especially the renovation after the war, was put at around $8 million plus. So the government, through the Ministry of Finance and NIC, entered a concession agreement with Golden Gate.
Which government?
To do the renovation. Yes. Well,
which government? Which government?
Which government? Which government?
No, that was since 2008. 2008. So it was the Madam Sirleaf government. So they entered an arrangement with Golden Gate to renovate the hotel and then run it. But they were supposed to be making some remittance to the government. So between 2008 and 2018, the first 10 years, they are supposed to remit, based on the agreement that at least I have, to remit $200,000 per annum to the government. And then from 2018 to 2028, they were to remit $220,000 per annum. And then we are told that it got extended by 10 more years. And so from 2028, they extended it to 2038. And between that period, Golden Gate is supposed to be remitting $275,000. Now, whether or not they are remitting that money to government, I don't know. The Ministry of Youth and Sports was not part of the negotiation. It was the Ministry of Finance and the National Investment Commission, because they treated it as a concession. But I agree with people who say that that hotel should be benefiting, even, for example, our national team. But there's no arrangement in the agreement that says so. So in my mind, it calls for review. It calls for review. The only thing it says is that if the government is supposed to use the facility, they will be giving 25% discount. That's all it says. But
What is the
in my mind,
lifespan
that's
of that
not true.
agreement? What is the lifespan of that agreement?
It's now up to 2038, based on the
What?
agreement I have. It's now up to 2038. And in my mind, it calls for serious review. But there's nothing that shows that the Ministry of Youth and Sport was part of that. It was the Ministry of Finance and the NIC representing the government that signed the agreement with Golden Gate. And so it is a complex situation. We have forwarded the documents to the Ministry of Justice to kindly review and advise us. Currently, Patrick, when the national team, the Lone Star, is playing, we have to take them to our LJ or Colony Hotel. We owing these people currently huge sums of money. So if we had a real good arrangement, the national team could be benefiting. The national team should be benefiting rather than go and pay thousands of dollars. Just today, I forwarded a reminder to the Minister of Finance of almost 200 and some more thousand US dollars that we owe various hotels for the national team, the Lone Star. So that's all I can say about what I see, which is a very scanty agreement. It's not detailed. I think it's just 2 or 3 sheets. That's what I had. So I forwarded it to the Justice Minister to look at it. But I believe it calls for serious review. Now, you talk about garbage, and you are right. And there is something that I have called the PCC head. Mayor Bestman and myself have had meetings. Patrick, every day we clean that place, the next day, overnight, you have garbage there. Now, we called the Police Inspector General, Gregory. We said, look, firstly, let me inform you that where the police is, that's where we want to construct the new Ministry of Youth and Sports. We have done the blueprint. We cannot continue being here in the stadium. It's even against FIFA and CAF standard requirement. You can have 400 to 500 people having access to various outlets of the stadium. It's against in terms of security. So we said, look, under this administration, we must construct the new Ministry of Youth and Sports. So we earmarked that place. We sent people there. They did all of the drawings. We have it with us. We told the Police Inspector General that we need the facility. He only came to us and appealed to us to at least give them up to the end of August, because these are police officers and their families and what have you. Now, I told the Police Inspector General even today, because I met with him today, I said, the best and the least you can do for us, ask your people to maintain that facility. Let it be clean. At least send 1 or 2 of the officers there overnight to monitor who's throwing the dice there. But Patrick, we're cleaning today. Tomorrow morning, by the time I drive there, I see the garbage there. The PCC will come and clean it overnight. You'll see. So it has become like that until we can know exactly what is happening, whether it's been thrown from in that fence, where the police officers are, or it's from somewhere else. That's why I asked the police to assist us.
Mr. Minister, I know the coding program but it cannot stay like that. You say August they will be leaving. The police told you August they will be. The point is, they just fixed that road. They just expanded the road. Right on the road that they expanded, that garbage keeps being there. People are throwing, and we are finding explanation. I don't want to say justification, but something has to be done. That's the point.
But Patrick, something is being done every day. I keep saying to you that the mayor of Pinsville has said to me, in fact, for me, he said he want to go and break down the place. I said, no, I mean, I had a discussion with the police inspector general, and he said we should allow them some time. But we are always saying, Patrick, it means that we don't have the capacity to man that place overnight. No, we don't have it. So we ask the PCC and the police to assist us. Today, I beg the police director or inspector general to kindly send men there to man the place. That's the only way. I agree, it's the face of the street. But the mayor of PCC, the Peace Vessel Corporation, is aware. And the inspector general, we have communicated with him. He's aware. So they all need to come and assist. That's the only place we got a problem. Nowhere else around our facility has the problem, but that particular area where the police is. And so that's our problem. So again, tomorrow morning, I will go to the PCC here so that we can call the inspector general so that for once we can find a lasting solution to this. But we clean it today. Tomorrow morning, you come, you see the garbage there. It's becoming a regular thing. That's the problem.
Can I ask the minister questions, please? Because I haven't spoken at all. So, Minister, thank you for your service to country, and I appreciate all that you've said. I've been listening, and I heard you say something that the entity is not an income-generating entity. But I do know that we have games, the county meet, and I do know that we are collecting from points of entry, right? Ticket sales for the county meet. When we're having games like foreign games and stuff, we do also, make money. So I was asking what is done with that, the proceeds of those games. I just wanted to know that part first. And then part two of my question is that I heard you saying that most of I don't know if it's a substance abuse rehab centers that you have, they were already there and you met them. I just wanted to find out, is there any methadone clinic or any drug prescribed rehab where people are tapered off current drugs that they are using so that they don't fall back into the habit, so that they don't recycle? So that's what those are my two questions.
I was saying the number for Dr. Zia, who is the mental health.
I'm gonna go to Dr. Zia again too.
But because you're asking health related questions now.
No, not health related questions. No. There, and also I wanted to ask something. You said when you enter the entity that I want some statistics. You don't, if you don't give credit to yourself for the work that you do, then it goes free. You say you enter the entity, there were a lot of people that were there. There are some that are not there. You don't know the exact amount of people who did not show up. You just said $60,000 was reduced. How many people does $60,000 amount to? I mean, I just wanted some raw numbers. Like I could tell you from Morovia City Corporation, when the mayor took over, it was 1,400 employees that we had there. But after we started trying to match names with paychecks, only 800 people have shown up since that time that he took over till now. So at least if we have 1,400 people, deduct 800. That's the amount of people that right now we know that they're not working at Morovia City Hall because of the audit that we did and because we tried to match names with people. So that's the statistics I was looking for. We're not looking for a specific amount, only 60,000. So how many people does 60,000 represent? So those were just my questions. I was listening. Those are the things I wanted you to shine light on.
All right. So when I said we're not income generating, and you talk about the national team, so let me provide some clarity. So the national teams,
not the national team, county meet. Do you raise funds from county meet? How much is generated? That's all. Not the national team.
So let me just give you general information now. You also need to know about the national team, and that's why I said I will also talk about the national team. The national team is managed by the
That
Liberia Football
question,
Association. It's managed by the Liberia Football Association. So every time games are played, because we turn the national team over to the LFA to manage, so they are responsible for the national team. But we know that over the period, because the national team has some problem with winning games, I mean, Salinsa is in there, he will tell you that we have had problem with throwing out at the stadium. The county meet is one shot, but the county meet is very expensive to run. Very expensive. We gave a report of the county meet. We gave a report of the county meet on the total income that was generated and the total expenditure.
Okay.
I can also send you a copy of that. But
would you like to share
if you
in raw?
yes, yes,
Okay. With the
I will
audience,
share
I
it with
mean,
you.
they want to know. Okay.
Yeah, but I said that. We had a whole press conference, Fatima. After the county meet, I have always done that every year. We have a press conference and release the report to the public. I have a copy of the report. I will forward to you and you can publish it. All right? But I can assure you that when you match the expenditure, because I thought when you see the crowd in there, you think that's the kind of money that is raised, but it's not. Let me tell you one thing. You see the stadium wing? The stadium wing is exclusively for all the athletes that participate in the tournament, whether that's kickball, basketball, football, all of them with the technical staff. They go there free. Then you have our sponsors. Sponsors, because what the government gave is just little. So we talk to sponsors to assist. These sponsors are giving complimentary tickets for the VIP and VVIP. The only area you raise some money is around the field. But when you match that with paying referees indemnity, match commissioners indemnity, police, the fire service, and all of that, I will send you the report. You come to appreciate that nothing is raised. All right? So I will send you the report. But again, what we included in the past two county meet is short-term job creation for young people. So now we got Fly and Linsu working with us. They submit the names of young people who are manning the gates, who are serving as hostesses and other people in the VVIP and other areas, and we pay them at the end of the month. So the report I will send you will tell you how much of that was used for short-term job creation, how much was used to pay the Liberia National Police, how much was used to pay fire service, how much was used to bring water, how much was used for sanitation materials, how much was used to pay the almost 100 non-employees who are cleaners, who should sweep the whole stadium. When you see that stadium after the game, and you come back the next day, you see it clean, you think it's magic. You got 100 or more non-employees who are recruited just for that purpose. So the whole thing is not about even generating and making profit. It's about ensuring continuity in the county meet and ensuring that you create some short-term job for our people, whether they're referees, whether they're players themselves. The players themselves is a short-term job creation because the subsidy we give to the counties, they pay their players. Then people also enter the stadium to do business. So it's a big market center during the county meet. All of these people, these are Liberians. We allow them
Minister Bangalu, if I may come in quickly, then before we come to James Diva, Fatima asked a particular question. What did you generate from county meet, or how much did you generate, and what you did with it?
Basically, that's all.
So we generated around 16 million Liberian dollars. Look, let me be accurate. Give me the photo. I will give you the actual figure in 5 seconds. Let my special assistant just give me the photo. But like I said, I provided this report to the public. I had a press conference, and I don't want to give you
No,
numbers.
Minister, I
estimates.
understand you provided it before, but for the purpose of the show, we like
That's
to
why I
ask these
said I will read
questions so
the
the
numbers
audience
to you.
is, the
The
audience
numbers
is
don't have
aware
to
of
be
what's happening.
exact as they are
Exact.
in
It
the
should be
paper.
around about. That's all I
Yeah.
want. Like when
Yes.
you
So
said
that's what I
this
said.
this was the part that I really wanted you to talk about because it's something
So
that you've gained.
listen
It's
to
something
the
that you've done.
report.
The part that I wanted you to talk about, Minister, just give me 1 minute, was you have actually helped save payroll. But you do not know the amount of people. You're just talking about the amount of funds. I would like to know
So you can
statistics.
say
If you have 1,000 employees and then you save 60,000, what is 60,000 of the total? How many people did not show up to collect their pay? Those are the kind of statistics I was looking for. But if you don't have it, fine. Just FYI, because you've done
so
a good thing,
because
but you're talking about amount and not, that's all I was asking. Because I'm being asked the same questions to ask you.
all right. So the total income generated amount, total income, considering sponsorship and government contribution and everything, and then the gate intake was 331,000 US dollars and 41 million Liberian dollars. Total income generated. All right. Total expenditure 295,654 USD, 32,017 Liberian dollars. Total cash balance 35,346 USD, 9,105,000 Liberian dollars. So, like I said, I can send you the detail on all of the generation. So, the sponsorship, the government contribution, and every other contribution. I have it right here. I can send it to you. But that's just a snapshot of what the total income was.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Councillor. Yeah, Patrick, go ahead.
Thank you.
Patrick.
I'm coming to you,
I have
James.
a-
I'm coming.
Okay,
you have
okay,
a question?
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
if-
for the minister. I thought you were about to ask it. I
Okay.
have a question for the minister.
Please go ahead, and then I have a question
Yeah,
for you too.
Honorable Minister, even though I'm just joining the show, while listening to you briefly and vividly, I must first and foremost commend you. Your assertions have been on point, but there's something you said that caught my attention, which is money was put or allocated in the budget for former national team players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to be precise because when you talk about former national player, there should be a distinction. Because former national players, we have perhaps approximately 200-300 national team players.
Sagbayense there, oh.
Yes, there should be some distinction. Perhaps you can say, okay, this money will benefit those who perhaps had, maybe up to 30 selection. Because you can't just say former national team players. There should be some precision. Because when you say former national player, that's a sweeping statement. There's a lot of former national team players.
Zakringa, Theo Weeks, these are just recent players.
Exactly, Patrick. To be precise, yes.
You mean
yes, sir.
The organization that is reflected in the budget is the one that is currently chaired by Washington Blade.
Chaired by Washington Blade.
The former national. Yes, that's the organization. Is registered, and that's the one that is reflected in the budget.
So Councillor Bangalu, I think where James Diba is coming from is when you just say former national team player, there are those who feature on a national team one time.
Sure.
They just one match and they were done. 2 matches,
But,
yes, 3 matches.
but
More,
we don't go into we don't go into those details with the federations and subsidy receiving entities. Once they are registered and they are now reflected in the national budget, they now go on and handle their administrative aspects. There is this organization that is headed by
Honorable Minister, sir, not to cut you. Yeah, that organization that is headed by Washington Blade, with all due respect, that organization has not been authenticated up to now. We're having some leadership problem.
So then, how you want me to do? So you need to bring that to my attention as minister. I can't go looking for cases. You got to bring it to my attention that you have issues.
Okay.
How you want me to? I've received no complaint. No.
Yeah, that's structure. That structure. That organization has not been authenticated. You know, so
well,
it's hard to explain.
So you need to bring that to my attention.
Patrick, go ahead. Let ask Jimmy some question because we're just coming to that issue about the welfare. The welfare
of Jimmy talked about Jimmy talked about the former national team players, and let's stick to the former national team players because Anthony Laffour is a former national team player. Is he part of this? And if he's not part of this, the public needs to know because now it has to deal with their welfare, and this is cardinal. Jimmy, have you benefited from this?
Yes, sir.
You've benefited from this?
Benefited from what?
But Patrick,
From
that
this
question
welfare.
is not fair. No, that question is not fair. I told you.
Listen to the minister.
Jimmy, just wait.
Yeah.
I told Patrick in this platform that this is the first year. And even at that, it was just last week I got information that amount has been processed. So how you ask Jimmy if he has benefited? What we know is that amount is now accessible to that organization.
Was that the amount George Jibro benefited from?
No. That was from the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Corporate social responsibility that you got on LTE. So I mean, we've been assisting. We've been assisting not just Jibro, but the other day Coco Wule. We got information that he was ill through Orlando Kringa. We moved in.
With regards to that, you have done extremely well. I must commend you also.
And a number of other interventions we've been making with ailing former national team players.
Yeah, but Patrick, this is the first of its kind. I must commend him for that. Has never been. I mean, I must commend the minister for that.
Now, Jimmy, let me ask
all
you
of those
one
administrative things, if you have issues between me and you, it's not just that organization, but all of the other organizations that are receiving subsidies. If they have issues, normally they will communicate with us and we call them in to mitigate. So if there are issues, Jimmy, just communicate it to us.
No, I'm not part of the organization. I mean, but I've just heard, there was all speculations.
I must say, maybe I need to I'm trying to get Senator Jonathan Botcha-Segbe on as we talk about former national team players. He has proposed to his colleagues at the Liberian Senate a special fund to be set aside, if legislated, that will, benefit former national team players. If that happens, it means that former national team players would have, a special fund secured for that purpose. But Jimmy, I wanted to ask you about some information we're getting during the reign of former President Samuel Doe, you all won a game, and Mr. Doe, former President Doe, bought land for all the national team players around the FDA community. I understand, that Cheido, that's where Cheido had his property. I understand that land is being encroached upon now, and I don't know whether you all have benefited from it or somebody is benefiting from it. You have any idea, and what can you say?
Patrick, I heard that before, but I cannot elaborate on it. I don't know whether it's true or not. I left the country 1987. So, I can't basically I can't tell you whether it's true or not. But a lot of people has proclaimed that, but I don't know. I don't know whether it's true. No idea. No,
The
not.
former president did not inform you. I understand he gave land deeds to all of you.
Not to me. Not to me.
And you played for his famous
No,
club, Mighty Baru.
yeah, but perhaps it was after I left. I don't know. Perhaps it was after I left. I left 1987. 1987, 88. So it was perhaps it was after I left. So I can't elaborate on that.
Jimmy, what do you think about the Liberia Football Association work and as they move on to elections, of course, the politics of it in picking a president of the FA, and that has an after effect in determining who coaches the national team. There has always been this talk around town that the FA needs, the Youth and Sports Ministry needs to be decisive in ensuring that working with the FA, that we have a local coach. We do have one now, a local coach, but at the same time in determining who heads the Liberia Football Association. Let me get your take on this.
Yeah, but the relationship between the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Liberia Football Association has been cordial. It has been cordial. A lot of the problems that are surfaced, people saying, why is it that the national team is not winning? That's the technical aspect of it. You can't pinch that on the Ministry of Youth and Sports or either the LFA. We have several coaches over the time. I think a protracted period of perhaps 10 years. Otler came. We had who else came? I've always said this. Okay, the problem. No, I came. Yeah, okay, I came. But the problem, the solution to this problem has never been hiring foreign coaches. No, that is not the solution. You hire a foreign coach, you gave him up to $10,000, $15,000 a month. $10,000, $15,000 a month. He's taking get the job accomplished. When I was coach, I'm not trying to brag. I just saying something. When I was coach of the national team, I was being paid $2,500.
$2,000?
$2,500. And I coached the national team for approximately 2.5 years.
But you don't have a certificate. You don't have an A certificate as compared to Butler and all these foreign coaches.
I do. Why would I coach the national team if I don't have a certificate? How is that possible? I got my B lessons from here. And I even forwarded, I went to England. Under Coach Claudio Ranieri, I hired my A certificate. I'm A certificate. So yeah, but just to fast forward, Patrick, hiring foreign coaches has never been the problem. It has never been the problem. I think Thomas Kojo I think he's doing well. Thomas Kojo is doing well. You see, look, I coached the national team for a couple of years. And I'm on record as the only local coach that ever accumulated 10 points. 10 points. You can check the stats. So hiring foreign coaches has never been the problem. We just have to work on our players, that's all. We have to work on the players.
Let me ask, Fatima, I think you wanted to ask a question.
Yes, I do. And Mike, first I'll make a statement because you guys have been talking. I mean, basically, I only say 2 words on this show tonight. To my celebrated star, the most celebrated star.
Yes, ma'am.
I've always told you that when I was growing up, you were one of the people that we idolized. And I met you way back and I told you, how I felt about you, but that's another story. You've shown that you can play football with your feet and you can still think with your head. And your eloquence, okay, and the way you express yourself shows that people can be educated, can learn things, and can do better.
Sure.
Yesterday, I heard you actually come on because one thing I like about you, you're not one of those. I told you one time, I said, an aunt of mine told me that back in the days you and her were friends and how you took care of her and you couldn't even remember. That's the kind of person you are. You don't give people bread to eat and come on national TV and say, I fed her, I clothed her, and this is it. You couldn't even remember. I had to remind you before you went
Sure.
back and thought about
Sure.
it. So you're the kind of person who I think should have been our sports ambassador if you are not. Be someone because you actually are an example for all Liberians who want to be, and you've actually helped people in sports excel. You're the kind of person that our young boys and our young girls aspire to be like. They want to be like you. And I thank you and I'm grateful for that. My question to you is that A, you said something that touched me so much yesterday and it was profound when you said that your first $1,000 was given to you by the late President Doe. And you felt, and I know in my heart, if you ever came close to that presidency, you would have made sure Mrs. Doe had her rights. You would have given her respect because I've never actually ever heard that you been someone that denigrate women that show off and or none of that. So my the question now that I have for you is that why why are some of our people who use football their foot to play don't think with their heads? I mean, I just want you to say it plain and simple because you have shown that you can play football with your feet and you can still
As
think and you can still analyze. So why is it?
I, I, I said what I said yesterday, and stood
Period.
by my statement. Yeah, and I stood by my statement. It is written that ingratitude is the worst of vices. Ingratitude. Look, what I want to say is that we came to prominence because of the late President Samuel Kanyon Doe. And I can say that again. We came to prominence because of him, because of those initiatives. I can remember 1986, 26 players under the leadership of the chief patron of sports at the time, the late President Samuel Kanyon Doe, flew 24 players to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil for training. Samuel Kanyon Doe. That's what just one of the initiatives. Fast forward, I want to say that, and I said that yesterday. When we play Ghana Black Star here, I can't remember. I think it was 80. More reminded me of that. More, which year was that? I think it was 87, right? The Salinsa opening, Salinsa closing. I think it was 87, if I'm not mistaken. 87, 88. After that game, we were carried to the executive mansion to meet the president, Samuel Kanyon Doe. And to my utmost surprise, I know we're going to receive some sort of stipend, okay. But to my utmost surprise, we went to the president, he was upstairs, and he saw the both of us, the former president, George Weah and I. He said, you're thank you for the game today, you're doing extremely well, you're put Liberia first. So I will give you a small thing for you to eat tomorrow for breakfast. And it was small, I mean, but 17, 18 years old. And the president gave us 2,000 United States dollars. $2,000. Imagine $2,000 at that time. That was
For
my
that old
first
money.
time. Oh yeah,
Old
my
money.
first time receiving that. My first time receiving that kind of sum of money. $2,000. $1,000 for me, $1,000 for the former president. And come on. As I said previously, ingratitude is the worst of vices. You understand? You got to appreciate things that people do for you. Look, this man was there for us. The former first lady. You had to drill the woman here, running all around here, back and forth for her pension. I mean, it's a complete out of disdain. I said that before. He should not have done that. But then again, I was also on the receiving end of that. You remember? I mean, a few years ago, the man called me to the executive mansion. He had me in the lobby for close to 6 hours.
And I heard you cry, Jimmy. I heard you cry.
Yes, 6 hours. I'm not being political here. I'm just saying the facts. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, they'll come for me and they do the sedition. They don't understand. It's not about, you know, this is not about politics. Come on. Let me factual here. I sat in the lobby for 6 hours, but that's cool. It's all right. You know, I accepted it. Nothing wrong with that. Look, I was in all his accolades. We were there to celebrate with him. I would tell you that I have no pinch of jealousy or any hatred for him. I've always supported him. In all his accolades, I was there to celebrate with him. But all I wanted for him to do the right thing. And what happened between he and the former first? He's wrong. And I can say that any day, he's completely wrong. That should have never been the case. This woman was there for us. And look at the narrative. He said, as a matter of fact, he said, he was on his way out. He was traveling, but then the former ambassador, Asa Yenevo, had to, you know, tell him that, no. Even if you're on your way traveling, but you got to go to the former, former first lady and pay your respect. That was not at his own volition. You see that? That was not at his own volition.
James, I want you to come back to this 6 hour story
So
quickly.
I mean, it's completely wrong. I don't care how to try to put some twist on it, but it's completely wrong. It's completely wrong. Me, I've been always objective. I mean, I don't sugarcoat people. I tell you the facts. I don't love me or hate me. I am who I am. You know, I don't sugarcoat people. If you do the wrong thing, I will tell you you're doing the wrong thing.
And my final statement.
Yes, ma'am.
My final statement is, Minister and our celebrated star, you guys come here and speak English and make our country look good. We are very proud of you. Thank you so much. I mean, at least when you're speaking, we're proud Liberians. Thank you so much for your eloquence and how you express on this show tonight.
The former president of the United States.
Celebrate you.
Yeah. But you listen, let me just give you one quotation. The former president of the United States, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, once said, and I quote, he said, ask not what your country can do for you, or what you can do for your country.
What you can do for your country. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I always put my country first, regardless of the circumstances.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Patrick.
Yes, sir.
Patrick. Yeah, I'd just like to add something. And Salisa struck a very important point. The national team is not managed by the government. Government does not interfere. It is the Liberia Football Association. The government does not determine the coach of the national team. Salisa was right. That's technical. It is the FA. Fatima, I will not let you go without me giving you the statistics. So there were 4,780. 4,760 beneficiaries. $50 per person. The 60,000 divided by 50, there are about 1,200 who were fictitious. And I hope
you
answer this question.
You gotta give credit to your work. You took 1,200 people off their payroll. You saved the Liberian government $60,000. That is credit to you. In social work, they say if you never wrote it down, it never happened. You don't get credit for what you say. If you say by word of mouth, it never happened. So thank you for this raw data. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
4,760 beneficiaries, 1,200 were fictitious.
That's a lot. That's a whole lot.
So before we take some calls, I would like to come back to James. He was talking something, and this is not politics, James. It's we just want to find out And thanks to Fatima for that question. But we want to find out exactly some of the things that we've heard. You were kept 6 hours waiting. It's amazing how, you would wait for 6 hours. Who called you for that meeting? You went there to see him, or he called you for the meeting? When was the meeting scheduled for? And
No, that meeting was. I remember that morning around. I think it was 11 o'clock. The former managing director of the National Port Authority, Bill Tuare at the time, he called me that morning. He said, "Well, the president want to meet with you. Yeah, we got something that we want to discuss." So I said, "Okay." I went to the port that morning to meet him. When I got there, they said, "Oh, the minister, he's out of meeting, but he told you to wait. He said you should wait." So I said, "Okay, fine." Now it's normal procedure. So I waited for 10, 15 minutes. He came outside. He said, "Okay, you brought your car?" I said, "Fine." He said, "Follow me. Let's go to the mansion. The president want to talk to you." So I said, "Okay." I got in my car. I followed him. We were then at the foreign ministry. Well, yeah. So when we got to the foreign ministry, parked my car, followed him, and we're going upstairs to meet the president. When we got to the immigration, the security check, they had to do some, which is normal procedure. They had to do their security check. We did that. We passed through. We're about to enter the elevator when he told me, Bill Tuare told me, so no, wait. Let me go talk to the president first. And that's standard procedure. I understood that. So I said, okay. I sat in the lobby. He went upstairs. Was supposed to be 20 minutes. We turned us to 4 or 5 hours. I was there in the lobby. After 5 hours, yeah, in the process Token Roberts, who was the director of the EPS at the time. Token Roberts came downstairs. He saw me. He said, "But what are you doing down here? You were supposed to be down here. Your man upstairs. What are you doing upstairs?" I said, "No, but Bill Tuare told me to wait." The MD told me to wait. He said, "Oh, Bill." Oh, he said, "Okay, but then it'll be all right." He left. A couple of hours after, his deputy came. Was on his way out. Well, I said, "But my man, what are you doing here? Why you stay here then? What are you doing here? You're supposed to be upstairs." I said, "Chief, the people say I should wait." Waller also left. After approximately, if I can recall, it was almost 6 hours, if I can recall. Bill Tuare came downstairs. He said, "Oh, Jimmy, let's go home, man. It's okay, let's go home." I said, "Let's go home? I thought I came here to meet the president." He said, "Oh man, it's all right. Everything under control. Don't worry."
Oh, that meeting did not take place?
Did not take place.
Oh my
It did not take place. It never took place. But that's all right. But what annoyed me the most, couple of days after, Hillary Justin Kono, my friend, I think they had a function at the U.S. Embassy, and Hillary was there to cover that program. I didn't tell Hillary when I was going to the mansion to meet the president. I didn't tell him. That night, Hillary called me. Hillary said, "Oh, my man, the president came to the mansion. The president was at the U.S. Embassy. I covered some program." Well, he told me, he said, "Oh, your man Jimmy came to see me." The president now telling Hillary that I went to see him. So I was shocked. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, the president told me you want to see him." I didn't tell Hillary. That's when, Patrick, I got annoyed. That means the man saw me sitting downstairs on his CCTV or camera, whatever that was. He saw me sitting downstairs. And he allowed me to stay over there and linger over there for a protracted period. Patrick, that's cool.
Yet you supported him in a second
round. Yes.
You
did. Patrick, my mother was a missionary of God, okay? I was taught in that fashion to forgive and forget. That's why when he called me, with no hesitation. And you understand? He's not the one who called me, the matter of fact, it was Eugene Namwe who called me. And I'll always be respectful of Eugene. Eugene called me, Eugene said, "Look, let's bury the crimes. What has happened is happened. Let's forget it." But it was not the president who called me. The man was president for 5 years. He never wanted to pick up phone to say, "Jimmy, what's up?" He's doing 6 years, not one day. And I can even show you all the text messages I sent. I was close to 15, 20 text messages. He never responded. I call him, he don't pick up my call. 6 years plus. Not even one cause, hey, Jimmy, what's up? 6 years.
SG, do that one to me, I will choke
But
you. I
that's cool.
swear.
I'm not
But
bitter.
have
Let
can-
it slide.
spoken with him
You know,
after the presidency?
I'm a Christian. I'm forgiving. You know, I'm not vindictive like other people. I'm not vindictive, so I let it slide. That's all right, man. That's all part of life. You know.
Yeah,
Jimmy, have you
vindictive.
seen him? Have you
No,
spoken with
you
him
know.
after the
Where
presidency?
you going low for
Huh?
him? Baker, yeah.
Have you seen
Why you
him?
going-
Have you
Spoken to
spoken
him?
with him?
No. And even all his functions, they will tell you that my heart is good. All his functions, oh my man, let's go play. The president said we should go play. I went on those occasions. I went there multiple times. Even the opening of the Invincible Park, I was there. And other functions, I was there to play with him. But I didn't appreciate what happened after. You know, you come into a function, you call other players to the function, you got close to 35 players, 30 to 40 players, and after the section, he gets in his car, he leaves. Then somebody will come with like, oh, the president left this purse for y'all. You know, each player will carry 10, they divided $10, $20. I say, oh, that's cool, man. I didn't come here for that. And I left.
Period.
But
Period.
you don't call me to give me $10,
I'm playing
$20,
Jimmy, no way.
$10, $20 and blah.
Joey ain't jab your too.
No, my man, Patrick, that's all right. And, you know,
He was
I'm
always
not
jealous
bitter,
of
you
our
know.
celebrated star.
It
He
is.
was.
Patrick, it is what it is. You know, I'm not vindictive, as I said previously. You
Christian
know,
people, you can
you
really
do it to me,
forgive.
it's cool. You know, you do it to me, it's cool. Yeah, people look Patrick, for me, people look at success differently. You know, to me, success is relative. I'm successful in terms of where I came from. So I always look back to my community to help other people. I help people, the whole lot of people I help in this country, but I don't talk it. I will not talk it. They will come out and proclaim it. You understand? I'm not that type to say, oh, I get it, man, $2 and go publish his name.
Never.
No, I will never do that, Patrick. I help a whole lot of people, Patrick. I took almost all my family members from here. I educated all of them, me. And even my friends in my former locality, Fiamma, Old Road. I don't want to talk on that, you know, because it's not divine. You know, you can say certain things you can't say. But it is what it is. The man excluded me for 6 years to close to 7 years. That's cool. I don't got nothing in my heart for him. No malice, you know. I'm all right. 6 years. You and myself, basically, we play almost for the same team on 2 different occasions. Well, AS Monaco, we went to Al Jazeera together. I mean, my heart is clear for you. My heart is clear for him any day. You know, I don't keep malice. I don't do that.
Were you at PSG with him together? PSG?
No. When I got to PSG here, I already going to AC Milan. But even on the national team, you know, I mean, no.
Do you think the rivalry came out?
Rivalry on what? Rivalry on what?
Doing normal days, we used to play with IE and Barrow.
I am more competitive. Yeah, I am more competitive. My competitive nature put me in a different position. And you understand? I mean, that doesn't mean I will hit it. That doesn't mean I'm against it. No, the football is competition. Football is competitive. But you know, people, when you look, Patrick, I have never been the person to talk. I don't talk. I'm quiet. You know, I'm a recluse. I don't not the people who put my feelings outside. You know, I hold it in. I'm a man. You know, for that man to be president for 6 years and never one day, not once, he could have telephone and said, Jimmy, hello, how you doing? Not once. Imagine that in 6 years, not once. So you see what I'm saying? So when Eugene called me during election and said, look, Jimmy, let's bury the crimes. You know, it is what it is. I said, okay, Eugene, cool. You know, I got nothing against it.
All right, let's take some calls. I mean, a very interesting story, very revealing. And I'd like to also thank the Minister of Youth and Sports for specifically.
Yeah, but the minister is still, Patrick, the minister is still in office. So
the minister is still in office.
Honorable Minister Patrick, can I get in jet? I just want to say something.
Please go ahead.
Patrick, you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, it's just something I want to say about the LFA. a lot of people, we can't shift blame. The LFA is trying. Look at it. Look at the various infrastructure that has been erected. That is unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Look at the recent opening of the Ganta Sports Stadium. Actually, we never had that kind of facilities. Imagine if we had those facilities back then. Actually, I swear to God, I will score 30 to 45 goals per season. You play on the AstroTurf. We were playing on gravel, Patrick. The kids now should be appreciated of what Mustafa Raji has done. They have the opportunity.
Do you support his re-election? Do you support it?
Support what?
His re-election, Raji, or you support Cassell?
100%. 100%. 100%. 100%.
Patrick, between me and you
can quote me on that. 100%.
Minister, go ahead.
I think he should be given another chance to continue what he started.
But Patrick running too fast with the poll election is wait next year.
Mustafa is doing
a lot this year. Mustafa is doing a lot this year. That could culminate
Patrick, you political, my man. Patrick, you political anyway.
Mustafa has done extremely well. I'm looking at Jimmy, the FIFA Arena project. The FIFA Arena project that earmarks 1,000 mini pitches in Africa. Liberia was selected to pilot. As we speak, Babo Way Mission, artificial turf is being constructed there. And in the barracks, artificial turf is being constructed on the field there. Those pilot projects will lead to so many other pitches across the country benefiting. So like Jimmy said, give Mustafa his flower. He has done extremely well for football development, yes.
Exactly.
All right, let's take some calls and then we can come across to close it up. Harris, if you are backstage, can you come up so that we can take some calls from the studio? 0776 590 for those of you outside of Montserrado County. That's your number. You can call us if you're in the counties. If you are listening to us wherever you are, Grand Gide, all those areas, 0776 590 Harris, let me see. Let me see whether Harris is available. Harris isn't available, but let me take this caller. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Your name and where are you calling us from?
Hello?
Your name and where are you calling us from?
Good evening, I'm Mr. Cooper. Can you hear me?
Can you go on?
Yes, it's slow.
Okay, then talk.
Okay, first of all, I want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the... Hello?
Oh man, go ahead.
Okay, Patrick, thank you so much for your show tonight. I'm really happy to hear Salisa Diba in studio or on the land tonight. I'm thinking.
Oh, my man, you got to...
So, Salisa, let me say this. The issue with your man, the former president, I was one of those who play with you guys. And at the time, it is Salisa that brought our men to come here. I would say this fair. Salisa that we were telling
Wells Heston
to all intersection there. I wish that we all were in GDL dressing. It was Salisa the one that just needed our men to come to GDL dressing to attend GDL dressing. Okay? So if all of those things do recognize Salisa is just unfortunate for him. But Salisa know that yes, indeed we all play together, and he's been a very good friend at the time we all play together.
Okay.
I mean, he just to continue to keep managing half of people.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let me take one more. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
My name is Henry Howard from the Rehab Bill.
Go ahead.
Say thank you to James Alisa Tiba in studio there with me guys, and thank you for the show. You see, James Alisa Tiba, people that are very more good and you want to talk to people and you know how to do things. And in the main man I've never done national team. I prefer James Alisa Tiba being the coach for that national team because he knows the national team players in this country and he knows the secret of the national team in this country. Joya bro saying Joya, man, I'm very wicked, ungrateful. Anything is too good to start saying it on earth. And we here for that type of thing. So the people that talk about Joya, they had a back on our side.
Thank you very much. One of the biggest news tonight is that the Minister of Youth and Sports has just informed us that the next county meet will be played in the night under the fog lights. That's a very big news. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
That's what you doing. That radio that on. Now what delaying the whole thing. So yeah. So go ahead. Your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, man. My name is Atiku Abdurrahman Islam Franklin Kawai, and I'm in Monrovia. Pastor, let me say a pleasant good evening and pleasant thank you to all of you, the panelists, for this show tonight. I mean, I'm just here and I'm delighted by the way, James Alisa Tiba expressed himself anyway. And every time I listen to James Alisa Tiba and the rest of Water Assembly, it brings to mind as to why the Georgia was with these guys and he did not learn how to express or to even speak English. Of the president, after of the president, the military yes. I made a recommendation. I wrote a recommendation in the comment section. I want this government to make this. I wanted the deputy minister for sport and the minister of youth and sport.
Okay, Ko Bangalore, yeah. Maybe Ko Bangalore will take that one to the president. Hello? Ko, come to you for that one. Yeah, take that one. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling us from?
I'm Daniel D. We are joining you from a GSA resident.
Okay.
Before asking for WhatsApp number.
I want to be so grateful to all of you there in studio meeting. I heard the Minister of Youth and Sport talking about youth. And I heard him say a lot about rehabilitation. But my question is the rehabilitation, it can actually stop those kids from going to the street. It can actually stop them from going. The more you build like maybe 4,000 to 5,000 rehabilitation cells, it will never stop them from going to the street. So my question is, why are some of those things that they are putting together that will prevent the children from doing the drugs, and instead of building more rehabilitation centers?
The minister is taking note. I'll take two more, and then maybe Fatima has some WhatsApp callers to take 3 WhatsApp callers. So I'll take 2 more from this end. Hello. Yes, sir. Oh, too bad. We lost you the line. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Nasana Kuruma calling you from Ganta.
From Ganta. How are you listening?
Oh, I live in Grendu.
I say, how are you listening? How are you following the program?
Oh, I'm following the program in Morovia.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I want to start with Mo Ali. I thank for Minister of DTV, and I thank for Salisa Tiba. So we should get a national team to Salisa Tiba. That's what I'm concerned to.
Tell the minister here. He right here.
Okay, we'll tell the minister. You tell the minister, so we should get a national team to Salisa Tiba. The team will improve.
Okay.
And I want to talk Mo Ali.
Yeah, more off the stage right now. He will come back. The final caller from my end. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
The ACO. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been monitoring the show, although I got there late. But I'm Sigurd Daniel, a former player of Barrow and the National Port Authority. I overheard you saying that the former Lone Star player, I just want to make this clarity, even though Jimmy is there in the studio. But that has been dissolved long ago. We have the former national football player of Liberia. That's the name we decided to play. Because not all the players that play on the national team. You look into something, I want you to do research on it. You know? The former Lone Star player has been dissolved. Maybe if you are not aware. So we try to bring all the players back together, those that play for Parliament, St. Joseph Warrior, IE, etc., etc. So, but some people trying to keep undermining the existing of the former national football player like Brian instead. They keep using.
Who do you think is trying to undermine that?
Huh?
Who do you think is trying to undermine the existence of the
LFA and the youth and sports? Because they recognize certain of the people there. And we took serious exception to this. In fact, I want you to include the former national football player Liberia.
Who is the head of your group? Who is the head of your group?
The Washington Blade.
But I see Washington Blade, the man talking about here.
No, but the man been there for 27 years. We are not having election.
27 years?
Mark Gibson left.
Like Todmont, 27 years?
27 years. 27.
27 years?
We had a meeting at J.J. Ross School. J.J. Ross School on Ashman Street. And we changed the name. Because you go to Ghana, Nigeria, here and there, what have you, they don't just say Black Star player. They name all the players. Even those that didn't play on the national team.
Okay.
You know,
Thank
we
you.
wanted to stop the segregation. I hope you can invite me. We can come there to discuss the thing because we have a lot of scenarios that we can talk about.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Some players, let me get clear quick.
Yeah.
Some players that are being sick, they are not even being catered to. They do it partially in Liberia. And even some of the players that could go to treatment. Then we are really united together. But Washington Blade try to keep the whole, he suppressed the organization because he want to be president for life. We never had a democratic election before. Yes, I'm one of the league campaigner for election for the former players.
All right. Thank you.
He met the senator before, but I told him to do a communication to LFA, youth and sports, and even to the house of.
We have to go now. Thank you, Chief. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I want you to record.
Thank you now. Thank you. All right. Okay. Anyone has a call? If not, they will just come and close it up. Anyone? Nobody? Minister?
I just got a call apologizing for not showing up, but that was
Okay. I understand. Minister, there was a specific question about rehabilitation.
Prevention.
People do what?
Yes, so trust me, that question is fair enough. The caller is talking about, rather than just focus on rehabilitation, talk about prevention. So that brings into sharp focus at a program the other day. A lot of people were saying, we're losing the war on the demand side. Let's focus on the supply side. Well, that's where the Drug Enforcement Agency, as part of this multi-sectorial task force, comes in. They are fighting to clamp down on the supply side. But whether you like it or not, there's a demand for drugs by the young people. So we also have to do what we can to ensure that those who are already victimized go through the rehabilitation process. The other caller says Salinsa is his recommendation for coach. Congratulations. But like I said,
Minister,
the Liberia Football Association makes that determination. How does it harm me if Salinsa were to be appointed coach? It does not.
But Honorable Minister, that's not what. No.
No, not you. It was a caller that recommended you.
Yeah,
I recommend Salinsa, the guy from Ganta.
No, I have been in a capacity. I have been in a capacity before. I pay my dues.
Chief,
it's done. Yeah.
But you can't stop the caller from recommending that. So
No, no, I know. I
recommend you
agree. I agree.
But then the former player talk about the former national players. He's right.
Yes.
That's what reflected
Yes.
in the budget. Former national players. So Patrick, it means I play for Fair Flying Eagle. It means I can benefit from. I can benefit.
And you are also a coach. You are also a coach.
And he the 5 meters score. He the 5 meters score penalty away here.
Johnson, that is saying he scored penalty away here.
He the 5 meters score penalty away here.
I know.
It makes you call himself Raphael. Raphael.
Yeah.
Oh, that he need that.
Yeah. Raphael.
I'm a name. Where I be a defender.
The coach.
Jimmy,
yeah.
Of course, yes. You don't recognize that before the war, in Fuya, in Vonjama, the football could be equated to your second division now, your third division. I agree. Division. I challenge you.
No, I agree.
So don't
agree.
Don't condemn us. Patrick, what are you talking about?
Patrick, the standards were high. The standards were high.
It was high. And the issue, like I said, we're supposed to have a national football conference.
Yes.
We said national sports, but we have exclusively football. We don't discuss what's really the problem. It's no longer about infrastructure.
I concur, yeah. Yes.
It's no longer about infrastructure. You got a national stadium. You got the one in Buchanan. You got the Keresburg. You got the ATS that's been refurbished. And you got Tusa Field. You got SKD practice field. All artificial turf. The SKD main pitch. So it's no longer about infrastructure. There's something else.
No.
So we have this conference. We can make a determination on what's happening. What is it happening in Equatorial Guinea differently? What is it that is happening in Mauritania? What's happening in Guinea differently? We need to do that research. Instead of saying, coach, Saliza, you're being appointed as a special envoy from tonight.
Exactly.
So that we can sit down and look at this together.
I support that recommendation. I support that.
Yeah, and see how we can come out with lasting solution about this once and for all. But I believe we can get there.
Matifena has been there for 27 years.
Patrick,
the minister into the people listening.
Patrick, the minister is right. I think we have to converge and see what we can do. Yeah.
Saliza is deliberately avoiding our Washington-based discussion. And there's a reason for that. So
like man.
But man, I don't talk there. I know that man. I don't eat it.
Saliza would never go. Saliza was never going to that Washington-based discussion.
No, Minister, I ain't that talk. Minister, I ain't that talk. I wash my hands. I know that man.
Let me tell you the other news because they asked me what's trending. What's trending is that Mo Ali's water and sewer were catastrophically defeated from the knockout stage of the intra-governmental tournament, and Patrick Horner's LTA controversially came back as one of, I don't know, best losers. Best losers.
Oh,
and
really?
So he qualified. Yeah, best losers.
P-Ho, after you wore that jersey, they beat you that day, you were pretending like you got 4 goals.
No, they didn't beat us. We won 4. They didn't beat us.
Best loser. You the best.
They said best loser.
That information is false, baseless, and misleading. Only fit for the belly of the devil.
You have been celebrating the whole week.
I know, Patrick, man.
They came in as best losers. Best loser.
I say he came in the full gear. He matching jersey and he everything, Iron Store, everything. Nah, man.
Saliza, you know what he said? Saliza, you know what he said? He said Ivory came in as best loser and they carried the cup. So he can help him with LTA too. That's what he said.
But now you know that scenario. Now you know why.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me come to you all to give your final comments. Diba, let me begin with you. I'm sure you listen to the callers, and just in summary, the callers want to play some kind of lead role. I think in a nutshell, that's what people really want.
I agree, Patrick. I agree. But I have paid my dues within that capacity that I served. I would rather prefer a more technical, position, meaning that will have to do with sports, but with emphasis on football. That will have to do with sports, ambassadorial something that have to do with, ambassadorial within that position. He did mention the coach. Yes, as I said, Patrick, I think hiring a coach.
Jimmy, have you met the president? Have you met the current president? You
not yet, nothing. No, not yet, Patrick. Not yet.
Please meet him.
Yeah,
Do you have
I
any
will.
idea whether he's an IE fan or Barrow fan?
Okay, I agree, Patrick. Yeah, but as I said, in conclusion, yes, I will rather prefer serving in a more vibrant capacity than being the coach of the national team, because that position, I served once in that position, and I served it with distinction. You saw what I did. I served it with distinction. So, yeah, I will appreciate if I'm to serve in a more vibrant position this time around. But thank you, Patrick, for having me, man. I really appreciate it. Honorable Minister, I must commend you again. What you did for George Ebro and what you're doing continuously, this is unprecedented. It has never happened before. I must applaud you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Jimmy, look forward to hosting you again, man.
Anytime, Patrick. Anytime.
We appreciate you, Celebrated Star.
Fatima, I appreciate it. From my
You
heart.
know how I feel about you. Already know how I feel about you. By the way, Jimmy
you told me once.
Jimmy was a groomsman in my wedding. Okay, that's how much I love that man.
Tell that, yes, tell that.
Yes.
The man used to blog, he used to call a man Jacques Chirac.
Fatima, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I adore you. I really do.
Patrick, Honorable Minister, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Okay,
so
sir.
much. All right.
Why one minister I beg you?
Minister, I think you need to take Jimmy into the chief. Huh? What do you think? Minister,
Jimmy gotta go see the chief.
You have
Jimmy Orem,
Minister going to Zalitude?
No, Jimmy Orem, man. Jimmy not correct guy. I'm a man. Jimmy might have been working together. He okay.
Yeah,
he
he's
okay. But let me just close because I need to go home, and also the guys who with me, no overtime pay for them. So let them go. But Fatima, you need to come over because I know you're doing
I coming over. I coming
showcase.
showcase.
You
You tell me the date and the time.
They can push their own. Yeah, definitely I will let you know.
Because Brother Joe told me that he returned our car to you in safely. So I'm coming to you and we'll discuss. I will come, I will call you and we'll do it.
You go Granville, the one guy I was saying that you go to the line now is better. But I want to say thank you all. I appreciate the show. And Patrick, you can rest assured. All of you, Stephen, Fatima, will always be available whenever
thank you.
You need us for whatever we need to provide in terms of information. But what you guys are doing, very helpful to our people. Informing the people about what's obtaining in government. We need to do it ourselves. No one should tell you we should not tell the public what's obtaining. No one else can do it better than ourselves. You need to hear from our mouths. So we will be available. Thank you all so much. Only God can pay you for what you're doing. I was in Kolahun last week. Patrick was there. Mo was there. Clara's Massacre. And the people told us, thank you all for Class Reloaded. I was surprised. Fatima, they said, thank you all. They said,
Minister, let me just, I'm happy that you're taking credit. You're doing a lot. Thank you for taking some credit tonight. We deserve it.
So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you so much for joining us.
You all, man. Thank you, man. Steve.
Thank you.
Minister, I'm coming to you again. I'm coming there. Just telling you.
So Fatima, you go first.
I'm waiting for you.
All right.
During the course of the week.
All right. Thank you.
Minister,
I think Stephen should go first and I'll be next and you be last.
Stephen, you go first.
All right, thanks, guys. It's been a wonderful show. I think the guests were well pointed. They spoke to the core issues. I think it's good that we can bring from time to time some of these people to talk about some of the issues, especially in the world of sport, knowing that the former president who who himself, is somebody who played football at the very highest level. But to see soccer die under his administration was appalling. The national team dropped in terms of ranking under Weah. The stadium, our national stadium, was banned for many years. Lone Star was playing most of our home game away from the country. We witnessed that. At a certain point, people were planting grass at SKT like potato greens. So we saw all of that, and so we're happy now that the new government is
Yo,
here and
Jama.
things are improving. We now see in the budget there are funds for former Lone Star players, their well-being, their welfare. I think it's good. We also have a bill being proffered by the Senator of River Jeep, Jonathan Sugbe. That bill seeks to promote the welfare of former national team players. So it's good, a lot of goodies down the pipeline. I think we're in the right direction. Happy that Jimmy can avail himself to play some strategic role in promoting sports in our country. I hope the minister can get him very involved so that we all together can move this needle and transform this country. Liberia is all we have. And until we fix it and fix it for the better, we can all rest assured that this country will continue to go down the drain. But I'm glad that we're working, and happy Fatima too for the role you continue to play in elevating the successes of this government. It's good, that we share
Thank
our own
you.
story,
Thank
trumpet
you.
our own horn, so that the Liberian people can know that we're here for business. We're not here for business as usual. We're here for serious business, and we hope that we can
Period.
all move this country in the right. Thank you, guys. Looking forward to tomorrow. God bless you, and you all can have a wonderful good night.
Thank you. So it's always about the viewers, those who are listening, those who are all over the globe. We say thank you to our Liberian people who Joseph Boakai have encouraged for us to think about our country, to love our country, and together we can build this nation. It takes a collective effort. Each one, every one of you, it takes all of us together to make this country move forward. And so I encourage all of you. Every night, we make sure we come here to give you first class information. We're not withholding anything, and we bring the major players so that you can ask them questions so you can listen to it. We don't want any lies or innuendos to come to you. We want you to be informed about what's happening in your country. If there are issues that we think that needs to be corrected, I asked the minister some hard questions because I wanted him to actually accept what he's doing. The minister is doing a great job. I mean, for him to have $60,000 reduction from a pay period, a month's pay. That's a lot of money. So I wanted him to give the number of people because when we got to the MCC, the mayor, you won't believe it, he had 1,400 employees. And every day for a year, he been asking those 1,400 employees to come to work. Only 800 showed up. So almost deduct 800 from 1,400. That's the amount of people that he saved from the budget. So you have to understand when we are asking these hard questions, and I'm glad he was able to find out 1,000 plus human being. Can you manufacture that? Imagine what kind of rampant stealing, people sending money to people and phones. They were robbing this country down to nothing. I know it might not be nothing for you guys, but for us to build Liberia, every cent matters. Every cent. Every cent matters. That's why we come here every day to encourage you guys. And I want to hear, to not love our leaders blindly. Some people say, oh, you love Joseph Boakai. I love what Joseph Boakai stands for. Joseph Boakai is encouraging all of us to love our country, think about our country, collectively build our nation. Joseph Boakai has put himself, in this position where he's not here telling you, oh, my people will be in the road. Oh, my people. He's doing. We're seeing more and we are talking less. And you know what? That's why he bring people like me, the aviation mayor. I went to this feed. I was coming from the airport. I said, what's Steven? They said, you think Steven and Jack can be packing your office way on us, to show that people are actually going to work. They are actually working for a paycheck. Those are the things that we are happy about. So we encourage all of you. You'll continue to come to this show. You'll continue to share. You'll continue to listen because this is all about our country. And collectively, we'll make our country better. Jimmy, we adore you. We thank you. Thank you for saying your truth. Imagine you think me, I'm very personal with my friends. Patrick Hona will be somewhere. Today I call Patrick Hona, I made some demand. By the time I bap my eye, it was met. That's what you call friendship. Not because you're in position of power. You see your friend, somebody you struggle together, you leave. They said Jimmy cried in lobby. He said, wow, I'm here to see the former president. I didn't ask to come here. He called me and he belittled him. Those are the things. And people think that, oh, this man is God. There is no mini God. There is no one here. We are all equal Liberians. We just have leaders in position to move our country forward. Joseph Boakai now is the father of the country, whether you like it or you don't like it. He's doing the Liberian people's job. And by God, our right hand to God will support his efforts because it's a collective effort. We thank you. Continue to watch, continue to share. 5 months Wobaika, wona, Kaiko Abe Aso Ekena, Wobaika, Kuma, wona near, we queen of Famu, we are from Mamma. Ani anubu si Kaiko Meaqua, Kaiko Bekia Yana Wako, Kaiko Bekia Yana 5. Amen. Wobaika. Yeah, thank you. God bless you. God keep you. We'll do this again tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to thank the radio stations for relaying this presentation. Special thanks to Top FM in Grand Jide County. I just got a text message from them that they're still hooked up. Thanks to Radio Kwatike, I also had a text message from Bon County that they were relaying or they are relaying live, and other radio stations. We want to thank all of you for joining us. Tomorrow is going to be another day. Until that time, we say have a blessed night.
Patrick, by the way, let me just, I went to see the speaker today and I met former representative. I think his name is Fofana. He said he gave us his radio station in Kakata. He gave us a laptop. He gave us a lot of things so they can relay the show. And I met him today and he said that he's so thankful for what we are doing and anything we want, they're going to help us. And the speaker actually gave his IT person. He said any IT work we need, if we need his IT person to help us, he gave me the number to give to you. Whatever we need for this show, for our Liberian people to be informed and educated, he's willing to do it. So I got the IT person's name to it just in case we need to utilize the person.
That's
Thank
awesome. That's very helpful. Thank you. Thank you so kindly. Steve, Fatima, thanks so kindly.
Our song, please, our Liberian anthem, please. Thank you. Yeah.